All right, guys. So I think we're back on air. I think. So I'm just gonna give this a couple seconds to see if anybody joins, and I want to make sure. Daniel, welcome. So I'm assuming you can hear me. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't had a little technical difficulties where everything went blank, and it would not load anything at all. Marcel, hello, welcome. You can see my screen. Awesome, awesome. So I need to just kind of fix this up a little bit because I did have the major 3 cryptocurrencies on there, so I just gotta put one more page up there. So I do want to apologize about that. But I also want to thank whoever sent me at 10:46 a.m. Eastern time zone. Somebody sent me $10 worth of Bitcoin. And there was a message, but I really can't make out the message. It seems to be in a completely different language. I'm going to have to copy and paste it into Google and see if I can get some sort of translation in English. But whoever that was, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. You know, you're willing to donate $10 worth of Bitcoin. So you must find this information helpful. And I appreciate that. I really do. I don't ask for donations at all. You probably will never hear me asking for donations. But when you do make a donation, that's awesome. And I will definitely thank you for that. So whoever that was, I mean, let me know, please. But yeah, sorry, I didn't have my email up to kind of see that message come through from Coinbase. So if you're still on this live stream, let me know who that was. All right, let's see. What was I looking at? We had BTC on Coinbase, Ethereum on Coinbase as well. And then Litecoin on Coinbase. Patrick, what's up, buddy? Long time. Hope you're doing well. And you definitely earned moderator status, bud. You've been with me for a long time. So you should have moderator status currently right now at this moment. All right, now I gotta open up my trading platform. So it looks like, you know, everything's kind of making its way back up. Nothing is really staying flatline. Nothing is staying down. You know, they are making it back up from their low of today. I mean, even, you know, for Ethereum Classic to hit 1720 and get right back up to 1825, you know, that's not bad at all. 317.91, and I'm looking at Bitfinex. 317.91 for Ethereum, back up to 357.32. And Bitcoin 2420 back up to 2534 on Bitfinex. So those are pretty healthy. You know, they are getting the gains back that they lost. They're just doing it slowly but surely. But that's a good sign that, you know what, it's not going to continue on a downtrend throughout the whole day. But who knows? You know, I mean, the tides could turn at any time. You know, especially somebody that bought at the high and they didn't panic and sell at 2420. Now that it's making its way back up, they might say, you know what, I lost a lot of money previously. You know, I'm going to go ahead and minimize the amount that I lose and sell at, you know, 2600, whatever it might be. And then that would cause it to dip down again, possibly if a lot of traders are doing the exact same thing. Let's see your thoughts on Ethereum. Buy on every dip. It's going to outperform BTC very soon. Remember, there is BTC 5 coins out there. I don't know what that is. BTC star 5 coins out there. If you decide to sell, always keep a few for long term. Yes, and I've said that before. You know, you definitely want to sell in increments. And when I first started, I was buying and selling, and taking really nice profits, and then being like, wow, I could have had a higher of a profit. So I completely changed my strategy a little bit to where I started selling in increments, and it's better to sell, when it's going up than trying to sell when it's going down. You don't want to line up at the door with everybody else to try to get out. More than likely, you're not going to get out at the price point that you want to get out when it's dipping. But when it's going up, you're able to lock in profit on the way up, and that's the best thing to do because you will get an exit. You will be able to exit. There are people that are chasing this. There's FOMO kicking in, and they're looking to buy, and they'll be looking to buy whatever it is that you're selling. So selling in increments, locking in the profits is probably the best strategy, especially for me. Instead of selling everything, for $1.50 profit, and then it goes up another $2.50. And that's what I've done with Ethereum. I've just been selling in increments. I sold at, what did I sell at? 185, 200, 217, 400. So I've been selling in different increments. And I still have 15 left over. I'm going to pick up some cheap coins today. Yeah, it presented the opportunity. And that was, I think, right before I got on the live stream. Or as I was getting on the live stream, that really, they started dipping. Let me look at the timestamp on Bitfinex. 9:45. So 15 minutes I got on the live stream is basically when they leveled out and hit their bottom. 9:45 for every single one of them. I'm bullish on LTC. I don't know if it's going to be bullish, but I'm bullish on it, and I could be completely wrong. But I am bullish on ETC. I've been bullish on Ethereum Classic since, I bought it at $4, and then at $7, I was like, there's no reason that this should be under $10. There really isn't any reason at all. And once it cracked 10, I did a video and said, $20 is in sight, and it hit that 22.78 and pulled back heavily, and then recently just kind of broke out above that 22.79 or 22.80 and hit 23 on the dot. Before, of course, pulling back down. But yeah, it pulled back down to under 15 after hitting that 23. So if anybody got at that $15 level, and I wish I wasn't in the position. If I had sold at 23, oh man, I would have been looking to take position at 16, possibly 17. I wouldn't have thought that it was going to dip to under $15. But looking at all the charts on Bitfinex, looking at the charts on GDAX, they're all making it back up. They're not staying down. They're not flatlining. Let me see if I can get to some of these comments, and then we'll take a look at some of the other cryptocurrencies. If you guys have any recommendations for me to take a look at something, I'll gladly do it. So Daniel, you bought ETC, I'm assuming, right? No, I'm sorry, it was GDAX, so it had to be Ethereum. So you bought Ethereum 15 minutes ago? That's pretty good. So you basically almost caught the bottom. Yeah, dude, that 400. I sold it. I sold at 400. Before it went up to $420, 420 magic number. Yeah, but before it went up to 420, I was actually sleeping and I had a sell order in for 400. So I sold 5 at 400. Remember, I bought these at 177. So I'm excited to be locking in profit on the way up. But I didn't sell anymore. It dipped to 317 or whatever it dipped to. I didn't panic and sell. But that 400 is a magic number, and that 400 is giving it an issue. So we'll see if she can break out above that 400 and break out above the 420 high. But yeah, take profits, man. And Patrick, that was awesome. You knew to lock in those profits. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Daniel, I agree with you, man. Sell into the vertical bull candle. You get that bull movement. And especially, if you're looking at some of the indicators and the indicators, especially with the, exponential moving average, as long as those candlesticks are above the exponential moving average, you're sitting pretty good. Sean, it was GDAX that hit 400. It touched 400 a couple of times. I'm going to say about 3 times. We can take a look at the chart, but it did touch 400 a couple times. So there is that $400 level right there. So after 420, I mean, it kind of hovered and stayed around that $400 level, pulled back heavily, huge pullback, and a great opportunity at the 306 if anybody got into it, because then it hit 400 again, pulled back a little bit, got close to 400, pulled back, it hovered just underneath 400. So that 400 is going to be an issue for it. So I mean, she's got to crack, of course, above 391. Once she cracks above 391, 400, it could basically almost consolidate at that 400 price range. Now, if there's a lot of volatility that comes in, a lot more buying than the selling, then yeah, and short sellers are covering, especially if anybody tried shorting this thing, you know, let's just say when it cracked 350, you know, when it cracked 350, if they decided to short this thing, you know, and it's on an up, they're going to start covering, and they're just providing, you know, more. They're basically buying is what they have to do if they had already shorted it. So they're adding more to the buying side, and that would cause the price to kind of go up above 400. But 400 is going to be a crucial level for it to get above and stay above and consolidate above that range, because then we know that she has the ability to break out completely and get to that $500 range. And 500 was really my, you know, a while back was my end of the year prediction. And I think, you know, Ethereum was at like 275, you know, something to that extent, 250-ish when I said it. And I didn't expect it to get to 420 that quick. So she has the ability to really, you know, get up. I mean, she can go up 80 to 100 bucks within a matter of a couple hours. And if she does, that 500 bucks is in sight. I'll cover IOTA, not an issue at all. Ripple, I covered Ripple earlier, but, you know, I'll look at it again because I do have a position in it. Yeah, I agree, ESC. I mean, if you guys find this information helpful, you know, hit that like button, share this, subscribe, and help this channel grow. I mean, it's only going to get better as time goes on and as the channel grows. So Daniel, yeah, dude, share it with us. You know, whatever's on your mind about the bubble, definitely share it with us, man. There's never a right or wrong answer. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple things because you guys wanted me to take a look at Ripple, which I looked at Ripple earlier, so we'll just look at it briefly. But then IOTA, and I might be interested in IOTA. I don't know, not now, but I might be interested in it. Yeah, as long as Ripple doesn't crack below 25, I'll be okay with my entry at 23,711. So in the profit, but if it cracks 25, then yeah, you know what? I'll lock in, you know, a little tiny little profit that it would provide me. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you know, it did touch, and I didn't even really see this thing getting down to 24,714. You know, I might have been looking at something else. But you know, it's definitely come back up from that low. And really, all major crypto seems to be on an up right now, considering, you know, they've touched that low. So right now they are proving to us that, you know, they can get above, and she's about ready to get above, especially on Ripple, ready to get above my estimated moving average, my 10-day exponential moving average, not estimated. I'm sorry, but yes, it's about ready to get above my exponential moving average, 10 days exponential moving average. So as long as she can get above that and hover above that exponential moving average, then, you know, we're in the clear, and she could definitely get back up to 28 and see what's going to happen when she gets to 29. But there might be a little bit of resistance there. But yeah, I mean, these up and down swings are going to happen. They're going to happen. And, you know, the best advice I would give anybody is, you know, don't feed into that hype of it completely crashing, because it has the ability to make it back up. It's really got to have strong hands. Sometimes you might have to walk away from your computer, to be honest with you. Walk away, you know, because more than likely you might end up selling, panic sell. Don't give somebody the opportunity to get your coins at a cheap price. Wait, let's look at this on a 5-minute scale. And on a 5-minute scale, yeah, she's above it. She's above that moving average. And I've mentioned this earlier. So I mean, if you guys are using exponential moving average and you can really customize it to any way you want to customize it, and that's all that you're playing, I mean, you want to look at other variables as well too. You know, I do have the RSI, where the RSI tapped at 83.6, and that's high for it. I mean, that's high. So if you're using these two type of indicators, the RSI and the exponential moving average, it's basically, you know, giving you a clear picture of when you should take profit if you're day trading. you're long term, it doesn't matter at all. But if you're day trading, especially on the 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute candlestick, then yeah, I mean, this is a clear indication of when to get out. RSI tapped out at 83, and as we can see, our candlestick started to dip below our exponential moving average, and once it starts to dip below it, then it's time to get out. So if I was looking to get out, if I was really looking to get out today, which I'm not, I would have probably started cutting this at 28.5. I would say, because at 28.5 is really when the candlestick started to dip below our EMA, exponential moving average. So once it dips below it and it stays below it, you can see that it continuously stayed below it, and it didn't really start to make it back up. And once it starts to make it back up, our EMA starts to curl and starts to get up to the upside. We know that's a great time to take a position now. It's not, the EMA is not telling us to take a position at 24714, because at that time we had no real clear confirmation that was where it was going to start turning around, and we really didn't get that indication that there is going to be possible turnaround until 25.632 or even 25.6116. So at 26.5 would have given us the best confirmation, saying, all right, you know what, this thing looks like it's going to turn around. It's getting above that EMA, and the candlesticks are looking good. The volume is looking good, and our RSI bottomed out. It bottomed out right when it hit that 24.714. So if you had these two indicators, the RSI would have said, okay, you know what, this is a great buying opportunity, because RSI is dipping, and it has dipped to 30, almost 32, I would say, when it hit that low. So, I mean, even though, I'm not a true believer of Ripple and the technology behind it and the development team and how shady it might be, I can care less. As long as it's got volume, it's got momentum, it's got volatility, I will trade it. But we'll see. I mean, this thing could easily do a cup and handle, especially if she gets right back up to that 29. Let's just say 29.5 to make the math easy. If she gets up to that 29.5 or 29, she could easily touch that and then start consolidating, or just dip a little bit and start consolidating before really getting a nice push up to the upside to possibly, break 30 and get up to 32, 33. And this is basically on a 5-minute candlestick. But if you're a long-term investor, I would be looking at, let's see, I mean, we don't have much information that we can go off on Bitfinex, considering it was just listed not long ago. But yeah, if you're looking at, let's just say, the 3-hour candlestick chart, yeah, this would indicate to you that we're still bullish. The EMA is still underneath the candlesticks, and that's kind of a bullish signal for long-term investors, not short-term investors. And of course, the RSI had not really tapped out on the 3-hour candlestick chart. It's really staying under 62 RSI. IOTA. Let's take a look at that. 1,000 Ethereum target seems too lofty for you, huh? But remember, though, this is end of the year prediction. This is not a prediction within a month or 2 months. This is end of the year prediction for Ethereum. And my previous end of the year was pretty modest. It was $500, and it got to 420. So it's like, whoa, it's easily going to hit that $500, and there's 6 months left in the year. Now remember that it's my speculation. That's all it is. It's just my speculation. Don't use that as a trading advice, being like, well, Jonas thinks it's going to get to 1,000. It's at $350 now, so I'm going to buy it. No, don't do that, please. Please do not do that. So not much information on IOTA. We got to really get a little more granular and look at the possible 15 minutes. I've looked at both of them. I've looked at EMA, SMA. I like the EMA. I do have SMA white. At least I did. On let's see if it still shows up. No, it didn't. It went away. I had the EMA on Litecoin. Let's go ahead and put it back on. And I'm going to get rid of the 50. I'm going to use the 5 days on my faster moving average, 10 days on my slower moving average. I'm going to get rid of the 50-day moving average. I don't need that. Or I can take off the EMA and do the SMA. So really, I mean, it's really whatever you're comfortable using. And the time frame should be very short. If you're day trading, they should be very long in the sense of the 50, maybe 100, maybe 20, 50, and 100, moving average if you're a long-term investor. But no, dude, I'll look at all different moving averages, to be honest with you. But I try not to have it really cloud my judgment. You don't know what candlesticks are. Sherry, welcome. Welcome. It's great to see you on this live stream. I didn't even see the name. I just saw the comment. Sherry, and you and I are going to be working one-on-one. I really haven't had the chance to converse with you yet. I didn't read your message. I know I got a message from you on Facebook. But yeah, you and I will be talking, and I will be explaining to you what a candlestick is. Maybe I'll do it very quickly, but I definitely want to explain that to you into a little more in-depth detail. But I just want to get to some of these comments, and then I'll cover candlestick, and then I'll cover IOTA. Sherry, I mean, Google's probably, going to be your best friend. I mean, you can find any information you want about Google, to be honest with you. People are talking about ETH and BTC in a bubble. For something to be in a bubble, these two parameters must be in alignment at the same time. What two parameters are you talking about? The asset must be widely held. For example, like a home, it must move above the ability for the average person on an average salary to attain. When I'm drawing support and resistance, I look at all time frames, to be honest with you, because I want to be able to go back and look at the history of what it's done at that specific price point. And if I see, oh man, 3 weeks ago, it was bouncing off of this level. This was a major support. Then, currently on, whatever time frame I'm looking at for that day, it might pique my interest in saying, okay, you know what, it's bounced off that level 4 days ago numerous times. What are the probabilities that it's going to bounce off of that level? So that would be kind of my first area of resistance. And then, I'll look at the second area of resistance, but I'll look at all time frames, to be honest with you. It's just not one time frame. Is this a good time to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin? To be honest with you, those two, you can't go wrong. Wait for a correction, and this was the correction that we were looking for. For anybody that, excuse me, for anybody that was looking to get in, this was definitely the correction. You definitely want to buy it when it corrects. Yeah, I believe in BTC. I believe in Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin. I do believe in those cryptocurrencies. Are you all done? Marcel, I've been asked that question before. Is there a reason why I look at USD and not BTC? Yeah, there is. And I'll look at BTC, to be honest with you. But, my biggest fear is, and I've said this before, let's say hypothetically, I take my profit in Ethereum because Ethereum got to 400 bucks. I decided, you know what, I'm going to cash out of Ethereum because it reached 500 bucks. And let's say I put it into Bitcoin at the top, and Bitcoin decides to drop. I'm actually giving away my profit that I've taken on Ethereum. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to give away those profits by putting it into another altcoin or into another cryptocurrency that's going to drop. So let's just say hypothetically, somebody decided to sell Ethereum at 392 before it had the big dump, and they decided to do the BTC, Ethereum BTC pair, and they moved it over to BTC. BTC tanked. So they were basically giving up some of the profit or all the profit that they might have made from Ethereum. So that's why I really don't play the pairs, because I just don't know. Because you're really going from, taking a nice profit from a risky trade to another possible risky trade. But when you sit on USD, and you're looking for a better entry, that one USD is one USD. That your one BTC that you converted it to at 2,700 bucks, yes, you still have one BTC, but now it's worth 2,500 bucks or whatever the price might be. All right, so let's go ahead and Sherry, we're going to take a look at candlesticks real quick for you, and then we're going to take a look at IOTA. And you guys are probably hearing my kids in the background, or my little son. So let's go ahead and do this real quick for you. Try to explain what a candlestick is. So candlestick, Sherry, basically is the price action between buyers and sellers. You know, bulls and bears fighting out over price action and what the actual price of that, you know, cryptocurrency might be. So in the sense of Ethereum, you know, let's go ahead and let's zoom in. Let's go ahead and take a look at this candlestick right here, which is a red candlestick. So this indicates to me that, you know, there was a lot of selling that was going on. Candlestick is red, the volume is red. So what happened with this candlestick was the opening price. So you have a full body candlestick, and you see these little tails here. They're called tails. They're called wicks. I'll refer to them as wick just to kind of keep things consistent. So you're going to have a wick at the bottom. You're going to have a wick at the top. So the opening price of this current candlestick was where the full body candle starts, and that full body candle started right at 364.18. Buyers couldn't support it, so sellers drove it down, and they drove it down all the way down to the bottom here to the price point of $316.93 before buyers decided, whoa, this is a great support level. I'm going to buy this up. And when buyers start buying it up and it starts to go up, it starts to leave a wick. And when buyers brought it up, they brought it up halfway from the top of the candlestick to the bottom of the candlestick. So that's why we have this wick here, because sellers brought it all the way down and buyers brought it right back up. So basically we have the opening price, which is the top of the full body red candle. That is the opening price of that candlestick. The closing price is the bottom of the full body candlestick. And then the low is the bottom of the wick. The high is the top of the wick. That is on a red candle. On a green candle, it's going to be somewhat the complete opposite. Okay, so let's find a good green candlestick. Maybe with one with a wick on it. You know, let's play one without a wick on it. So let's say this candlestick right here, or these really two candlesticks. Now, of course, you know, sellers brought it down with this red candlestick here, but buyers decided to step in and support this. So when this opened up, it actually opened up right at the bottom here. And so there was no wick. So that was the opening price, was the bottom of the full body of the green candle. That was the opening price. Sellers couldn't bring it down. So that's why there's no wick that sellers would have brought this down. So the opening price was there. Buyers bought this thing all the way up, and they brought it all the way up to the high of that wick. And that high of that wick was $398.80. Before sellers or the bulls, or sellers or the bears decided to step in and bring that price down, and they brought it down and down and down and down, but they couldn't bring it down all the way to cause a bigger wick. They only brought it down halfway before the next candlestick started. And these are 15-minute candlesticks, so every 15 minutes, these candlesticks are going to change. Now, I can change that to say, you know what, I want to look at a 1-minute candlestick, and every minute, you know, so every candlestick will represent 1 minute's worth of the price action. So basically, candlesticks tell you the price action. They tell you a history of the bulls and the bears fighting it out, battling over price action, you know, what the actual price is of that cryptocurrency. So let's take a look at the current candle maybe, and I'll explain that a little better before I get to IOTA. But yeah, Sherry, you and I will be covering this into very in-depth detail. Basically, we're going to start from A to Z. On trading or investing, whatever it might be. So current candlestick, you know, the opening price was the top. You know, that's where it opened from the previous candlestick. Buyers brought it up a little bit. I mean, there's a little tiny wick. It's not much at all, a little tiny wick. So buyers brought it up just a little bit above its opening price, but sellers decided, you know what, this is not an actual good price. I'm going to go ahead and sell because I don't believe in this price point. And they brought it down. They brought it down just a little bit. So we have a little bit of a wick on this, and I wish I can zoom in a little bigger, but I can't. But from that bottom of that wick, sellers brought it up just a little bit. So we're going to see exactly how this candlestick reacts to the buyers and sellers. And I'm not looking at the order book because that's going to be on a completely different screen. I want to focus in on this candlestick on a 15-minute chart. But you know what? Just to make the time frame go a little faster, let's go ahead and do a 3-minute candlestick. So what I look for in candlestick, especially if I'm trading the 5-minute, 10 minutes, and I'm looking to basically get out when it turns on me, is I take a look at to see where the opening price is of the current candlestick in comparison to the previous candlestick. And as long as it's opening up, you know, at the closing price of the previous candlestick, that I know that we're still bullish. Once they open up below it, then I know, well, this is going to be a bearish territory. You know what? Let me get out. Especially when you have a candle like this here, completely engulfing majority of the candle. So if you have a big candle that's engulfing the previous candle or engulfing other candles prior to that, you know that that's bullet, that's bearish. So you want to basically might want to lock in a little bit of the profit, and that's if you're trading the 3-minute candlestick. Now keep that in mind. You know, not a lot of people are trading the 3-minute candlestick, and if you're trading 3-minute candlestick, you're in and out. You're placing probably 10 trades on a daily basis, possibly. All right, so the opening price of this current candlestick was right at the closing price of the prior candlestick, and of course buyers are bringing it up, and we can see the candle is starting to rise a little bit. So as more buyers step in, the price is going to keep going up. Now sellers stepped in, so they brought that down, and that's why we have a wick. So we're always going to have this wick at the top as long as sellers keep selling and the price keeps dropping. So once this candlestick drops below the opening price of where it opened, and the opening price was basically 36994. And if I'm looking at the top left-hand side where it gives me the date, it says O for opening, H for high, L for low, C for closing. So it's telling you what the open price was, what the high was, what the low was, what the closing price was. So we're going to really pay attention to this candlestick and see exactly, okay, our sellers going to start selling where this would turn instantly red if it dips below the opening price of 369.94. Now, if it dips below that 369.94, this current candle is instantly going to turn red. And it's going to stay red depending on how many sellers are still selling to cause the price to drop. Now, if buyers step in at this current price, they're going to cause it to rise up. So here we go. So the opening price is at the previous candlestick's closing price. And not much buying going on. As we can see, the volume is still low. There's still a little more buying than selling that's going on, but not by much. I mean, volume is very low on this 3-minute candlestick. So let's see. So it's currently right at the closing price, and it's still green. If it turns red, we're going to know that it's below its opening price. So the opening price is 370.19. It's exactly at 317.19. If it dips at 378, there we go, 370.98. So the candlestick body is getting fuller and fuller. But if she dips below that 370.19, then it's instantly going to turn red right away. So we'll pay attention for that for the next, until the next candlestick turns, and then I will cover IOTA, and hopefully, Sherry, that answers your question on candlestick. But just know that we're going to be covering this into a little more detail for you. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I'm going to see if I can get to some of these comments. I agree, man. Don't be scared of BTC Ethereum drop. Don't be scared of it at all. I'm not sure about GDAX market makers hiding the order. I know on Bitfinex, yes, if you can hide your order, but you're going to pay that 0.3 in commission versus not hiding your order and paying 0.2 in commission. But GDAX does allow you, I don't know if they charge you more, but they do allow you to post that order or unpost that order. I'm assuming if you unpost it, you're going to pay a little more. But yeah, so if we're really paying attention to this candle, it's going to go up, it's going to dip. It's going to go up and it's going to dip. And if it dips below the opening price, it's red. If it stays above the opening price, it's green. And if it gets above its high, which the high was 371, then we're not going to see a wick at all. So I love seeing full body candle green sticks without any wicks at the top. I don't mind seeing it the wick at the bottom because that just means that, buyers supported it and brought it right back up after sellers decided to dump. And that's exactly what happened with this green candlestick here. Sellers brought it all the way down, but I like the fact that buyers brought it back up and brought it back up pretty good, to be honest with you. I love TradingView, man. I really do love TradingView. And I use TradingView. That's what Bitfinex uses. Why I don't go to tradingview.com and use that, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know why. Because I don't know. I like how, on CryptoWatch, I can click on CryptoWatch and I have, majority of the cryptocurrencies, and I can get a better overall picture of what some of these cryptocurrencies are doing instead of having to really click on every single, coin trying to determine what it's doing. I can look at this and just really sit here for 5 minutes and visualize it and be like, oh, Ethereum is dropping. Let me click on that and take a look at the chart and see if I can find a good entry. I do like that part. But no, they're both good. They're both good. I would never say anything bad about TradingView. I forgot what I was looking at on here. I think it was Ethereum. So next candlestick is green because it opened up above its prior candlestick's closing price. So hopefully, I mean, Sherry, I know that was kind of quick, but hopefully that was somewhat helpful, so that when we do talk about candlesticks later on, you and I, you'll have a better idea when I start to explain things. Not a problem, Sherry. Not a problem at all. And you're going to learn a lot. So hopefully you're ready to learn. I'm going to teach you just about everything I know. And we'll start at the basic, because I know when I first started, I try to master some of the hard things and I completely lost interest on it. So I'm going to start, we're going to start basically baby steps. Baby steps. You got to crawl before you walk. And we'll start at the basic of what trading really is, or investing. IOTA. Let me get to some of these comments and then I will cover IOTA. No, Sean, that's a very good question. I do not place my orders through CryptoWatch. It's $15 a month, I think, to do it through CryptoWatch. So I just use them for their free service. And I actually like going right into the actual exchange that I have to place a trade. Now, I know Coinigy is great, and you can do the exact same thing with Coinigy. And Coinigy uses TradingView, so you can do the exact same thing that you can with Coinigy. I think Coinigy is like $30 a month that you can do on Bitfinex. I'm sorry, on CryptoWatch. But do I trust a middleman to handle, my user ID and password for those exchanges? I don't trust them. I really don't. I would rather go to the actual exchange and put in my user ID and password instead of putting my user ID and password to a third-party service. So that's why I don't place trades through CryptoWatch. It's not that I don't want to pay the $15. I wouldn't mind paying the $15, but I just don't know how secure they are. I'm basically opening myself up to risk. Yeah, I agree. Coinigy is also great. It is, and there's a couple guys that use Coinigy. ECS uses Coinigy. Logan uses Coinigy. Yeah, I like TradingView. I really do, and that's why I like Bitfinex. I like their charting. There's a lot of things I don't like about CryptoWatch, but you got to take the good with the bad. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're not making money off these trades, it doesn't make sense to pay $30 or $15 for a service that you're not really utilizing to make money. That's kind of the way I look at it. All right, I think I got to all the comments. All right, IOTA. Let's really take a look at this. And we're going to get a little granular on IOTA because we don't have much data. IOTA on the 5 minutes. Let's see. We might have to do a minute. 5 minutes is probably better. Yes. Go ahead and enlarge that. I'm going to get rid of the RSI just so you guys are able to see this a lot bigger. If I can get this whole thing to load. Not everything is loading. Yeah, so it looks like I got to do a 15-minute chart, unfortunately, because I want you guys to see the pump before the dump. And this was the pump before they dumped it. But I wanted to get a little more granular because I wanted to show you guys how long it lasted. And it didn't last long. And there's issues going on with it. So let me hit refresh. All right, so we'll look at it from the beginning of my speculation of what happened. So, of course, listed on the exchange, I don't know if they allowed anybody to start buying, but it looks like 45 cents, 41 cents was the low. The volume was 4.5, and then it just died down. And these are 5-minute candlesticks. So for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, there was no trading, which doesn't make sense at all. Volume was nothing. It was zero for 25 minutes. And then the pump started. Got up to 40, almost 45 cents. So a lot of people, what they're doing is, once it gets listed, if you're not able to get in at the bottom here and it goes up too fast, you're too late to the game. You're too late getting in. The people that got into this ICO in the beginning, before it was listed, are the people that are selling here. Those are the only ones that are selling. Nobody else is selling. Everybody else is buying. That fear of missing out, that FOMO, just feeding into the hype, and that's exactly what they did. And I wish we could look at this on a more granular 1-minute chart. Let me see if it'll cooperate. Because you can really see that it was just, they were just dumping it on anybody that was willing to buy. They didn't care what price point, they were selling. They were just looking to get rid of everything. And people chased it. They chased it, and they put it all the way up to $1.30, I think it was, a high on this. All right, this is perfect. This is much better. All right, so, early investors, ICO investors, locking in profit and selling as new people are chasing and buying. So now if you bought it down here, yes, you would have done well if you got out at the top here. But more than likely, if you got in and you're a new trader, you might have been holding for a better outlook or holding long term. And if that was the case, then you definitely got burned because, as investors were unloading, there were new people buying. And then, of course, anybody that probably bought down here and decided, hey, you know what, this is a great profit. I'm just going to lock it in. I just made 100%, whatever it might be. They started selling, as well as long-term early investors in the ICO started selling, and they brought it down here. And then, of course, FOMO kicked in again with new traders. They decided, whoa, this might be a great level to buy at 87 cents. It just dipped below $1. Let me get in. They got in as ICO investors or investors down here that bought down here, and they didn't sell at the top there, and they didn't want to sell here. They waited for a pullback to happen, and they started selling at the top there to cause this massive crash to come down. Now, there's a lot of possibilities. Early investors could have sold up here, or maybe got rid of half, thinking that this, might go up to $2, might go up to $3. They might have sold half of what they had. So then as it started dipping back down, they probably started supporting it back up by buying little fraction increments at a higher price to get it to go up so that they can unload everything that they had from their ICO price as well as what they were buying down here to support it to cause this massive crash here. I mean, this red candle basically completely engulfed this green candle, and that's very bullish. I'm sorry, it's very bearish. It's not bullish at all. So when a current candlestick, let's just say this is a current candlestick, engulfs the prior candlestick, and that's exactly what it did. It completely engulfed it. That's bearish, and you should be getting out. Get out now. Get out soon. And as you can see, our our exponential moving average, our EMA, our 10-day EMA, the candlesticks are below that, and it crashed. That's exactly what it did. It crashed and flatlined. And a lot of people probably thought, okay, you know what? This is flatlining in the 60-cent range. Let me get in, because that's all it did was just flatline and flatline and flatline for an extended period of time until it actually dipped here, where whoever bought it at the flatline price probably looked at this and said, it's not moving for me. I'm scared it's going to dip again. So you know what? Let me get out. And they got out, caused the price to crash here further to 51 cents, I think was what it came down to. 51.3 or 51.5 cents, something to that extent. And then, of course, it bottomed out. People saw this bottom out. They decided to support it, buy it, especially considering our EMA was basically below our actual candlesticks. And once our EMA is below our actual candlesticks, that's very bullish. And they bought it and got it up. Probably took profit, maybe didn't. Or anybody that bought at this consolidation prior to this dip, prior to this cup here, would have probably sold at the top there, knowing that, you know what, I just basically lost a good amount of money on this little dip. It made it back up. Let me just get out with a little bit of a profit or just a zero profit. So, I mean, is this a good entry? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't think it is yet. There's not much history to tell me if this is a good entry or not. So if we look at this on, if we zoom out, yes, it looks like it's just consolidating on a flat line, but it's not consolidating on a flat line. You are going to have up and down dips. So, I mean, especially anybody that bought it at 60 cents. I mean, it dipped on them to 53 cents, so 7 cents. So depending on your position, I mean, if you were heavily leveraged and had a good amount of position, then yeah, you were probably panic selling. But if you had a very small amount that you purchased just to kind of get your feet wet and see what it would do, then, you probably weren't scared, when it started dipping, because you only had a very little position. So that's the biggest thing. If you have a very large position, your holding time should be very short. If you have a very small position, then you can afford to hold long term. You can afford, for it to dip, because really the dollar amount that you're losing is not much at all. So I don't know. This thing would have to crack, 50 cents to see exactly if it would pique my interest below 50 cents. And then I would really have to look at the buying and the selling and see how they're stacked up. Right now, it looks like, buyers are outweighing the sellers, especially on the first 20 orders that are in the book. 246 on the buying side, 20,000 on the sell side. So they're pretty stacked up. But who knows if that's a real wall or not, especially with these 50,000 orders that are in the book. They could be fake, they could be real, who knows? But no, this isn't something I would be confident in playing right now. Maybe in a week, 2 weeks, a month to see what it does. And then it'll kind of tell me a better story of what IOTA likes to do. So hopefully this was helpful for whoever talked about IOTA. Let me get to the messages. I've been missing a lot of the messages. I haven't really looked at it. Post, welcome, bud. Here's a dragon tail movement you should understand. Let's see what you're saying. Bitcoin moves up first, then the top alts will move up after the Bitcoin moves down a bit. Then after the top alts go up, good time to buy penny stocks because they will start to rise while Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, that could be proven right. We've seen so many different things happening with Bitcoin. I mean, when I first started trading, as Bitcoin was going up, everything else was going down. And as Bitcoin was going down, everything else was going up. But it just seems to completely change now. Now it seems like, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, and Bitcoin are following the same trend. But I haven't really followed any of the altcoins to see exactly what are they doing when all these, four are dropping heavily. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to arbitrage, Bob, yeah, I mean, it's a risk you take. It's a risk you take. It's got to be timed properly, and it's got to be, I mean, there has to be a huge difference in price. There can't really be a $5 price difference and you're attempting to arbitrage because that transfer time could take a while to get there. So there has to be a significant amount of difference. And I mean, when I bought Ethereum at 177, there was a $30 price difference on GDAX. And that's what I was basically looking to do. I was looking to basically over. I mean, the $1,500 profit was dropping to 1,000, and then it eventually dropped to $500 profit after Coinbase decided to release it. So Bitfinex did the right thing. They sent the money right over to GDAX, and they got to GDAX within 5 minutes. I got an email from Coinbase saying, "Hey, you received 50 Ethereums." But then it took them 15 minutes to release it to GDAX for me to be able to trade it. And in that time frame, my profit was dwindling. Post, you've gotten a lot of calls right. Yes, you definitely have. I think when you texted me the other day, it was already being pumped, and I'm like, dude, I'm not going to get in at this price. But no, you had a lot of calls that were correct. But yeah, they do go up fast, but they come down just as fast. So those calls are not for investors. So yeah, so you do have some great recommendations, but they are not for investors at all. And I don't recommend anybody that's looking for long-term outlook to buy into those recommendations that you gave me, Post. But if you're looking for a short-term outlook, yeah, they're great. I mean, you've made some great calls on a very quick, up and pump and dump. But yeah, they wouldn't be a long-term outlook for me, bud. So you're buying with a credit card and then sending it to Bittrex. Oh man, I don't know what the fees are you're paying. Yeah, I'm a day trader. I'm a swing trader. Sometimes it seems like I'm holding things a little longer because I'm still in the profit. And I'm not worried about the little up and down dips unless it cracks through a psychological level that I have in my head saying, hey, if it dips below this level, I'm out. And they haven't really dipped below that level yet. So yeah, I could lock in a higher profit now, or I could kind of, wait it out and see what it does. And if it starts to go up, that's great. But if it starts to dip on me, I'm going to still lock in profit, but they're going to be at a very smaller profit than I would have locked in. Do I want your long-term prediction? I'd have to research them too. You know that, right? And I tell this to anybody, and I mean, I can't be, as frank as I can with you guys, but do not buy anything that somebody is telling you to buy. That's my honest recommendation. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. If somebody recommends a coin for you to buy, look at it, analyze it, but don't buy it because somebody said, hey, buy this. Do your own research. And then if you think it's a good trade, then buy it. But yeah, I've known a lot of traders to buy something because somebody recommended something and then it goes down on them. And really, you have yourself to blame if that is a route that you're taking. I do. I remember your call on just about everything. I really do. You had some great calls. Zcash was huge. That was a huge call, and I should have probably got in at whatever. I think that call was like, off the top of my head, I'm gonna say like in the 30s. It was like when it was starting to crack $60. It was at like 35, 40, and then it started to crack $60. I think it was. Yeah, I don't read every white paper. I actually have not, and I've told you guys in the past, I have not read one white paper. Now, if I was a long-term investor, yes, I would definitely be reading the white paper. I would be doing the research on the development team. I would be doing the research on the overall outlook of that cryptocurrency, on the future outlook. I don't read any white paper at all because then, it's going to really hinder my trading ability and my day-to-day trading. But if I was holding long-term, if I was like, all right, I'm going to buy this and hold it for a year, I'm going to read that white paper. I'm going to do a lot of research before I do buy it. And then I'm going to wait for a nice healthy dip to get back in. I know, Post. I know that you've done a lot of research on a lot of these cryptocurrencies, and you do have a lot of knowledge to share. But yeah, one thing I'll recommend is please don't pump Jesus Coin. I know you love that project, and I have no issues at all talking to you on the phone about that project. And we've talked about that project in the past. But yeah, just no pumping on this channel. And I've said it in the beginning when I started this live stream today. If you're pumping a coin on here, you'll get a first warning. And this is just not to you, Post. This is really to anybody. You will get a warning in the beginning, and then if that continues, the moderators will ban you. And I will not unban anybody that the moderators ban. I'm going to stick with their decision. So yeah, just be careful, guys. Just don't pump any coins out here. We're here to share factual information. So if you think there's a coin that's good, tell me about the fundamental. Tell me about the technical, what research you've done. And I'm sure that, there's a lot of people out here that would love to hear that. So, if anybody's posting a message saying, hey, buy this, we'll give you a warning saying, hey, please don't post that. But if you're saying, hey, take a look at this. This is why, I think it's going to do this, then that's great. I would love to read those type of comments. What's the best way to learn to graph charts? Research, man. Google it. It'll tell you everything you need to know, to be honest with you. And just immerse yourself in the candlestick. Just picture yourself in those candlesticks, taking those leaps to the upside and taking those steps downwards, and just immerse yourself. Just stare at it. Stare at the 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 day, 3 days, whatever it might be. Just stare at it, and eventually it'll start talking to you. I can stare at a chart and it's talking to me. It's telling me a story, and I can just put that information together. It takes a while. It's not something that you can do in a day. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I didn't know anything in the beginning. 11, 12 years ago, I didn't know jack about candlesticks and what they were, but I just started doing my research and really just started analyzing the chart and staring at it and staring at it. And the longer you stare at it, the more it starts to talk to you, and the more that you're able to just spot certain things. Rossman Design HD. Let's see. Started using Bitfinex. Pretty cool. Yeah, it is. It really is. It started with a little bit to test trading skills. There you go. Just need to start with a little bit. And if anybody's interested in starting, a Coinbase account or starting a Bitfinex account, I do have links at the bottom of this video. It'll definitely help me out, especially if you use Coinbase. If you set up a Coinbase account to utilize GDAX, use my link. It'll actually earn you $10 in Bitcoin. It'll earn me $10 in Bitcoin. So I highly recommend utilizing that link. And if you really want to help us out as well, too, and if you're looking for another exchange, I do have a link for Bitfinex, and that will definitely help out CryptoTrader's room as well, too. So if you're looking for starting those two exchanges, I highly recommend using our link to help us out. MJCACE. And that's something I am working on. It's just a bad time for me. I'm going to be moving very shortly. But once I get everything set up and I have the time, I do plan on doing, little series videos about different topics on trading, whether it's going to be candlesticks, trend, plotting out support and resistance. So there will be different videos. It's just really taking me a little time to kind of get those together. But, later on, you will see those type of videos. There you go, man. That's pretty modest. You want to turn $5 into $7. That's pretty good. You're not telling me you want to turn $5 into 100 because then that's a little unrealistic. But $5 into $7, yeah, dude, that's very realistic. It's only 40%. How many years have I been trading? Man, I mean, if you're talking about cryptocurrency, I really started getting into cryptocurrency. Well, I bought my first one in 2014, and I talked about this in the past. March of 2014 was when I first bought Bitcoin, but I've been trading the traditional financial market for probably the past 11 years. And then really, it was March, I'm going to say March 16th. March 16th of this year is really when I really heavily started trading cryptocurrency. But it was basically, December of 2016 that I was like, somebody basically mentioned Bitcoin on one of the chat forums that I was on because they got fed up with the traditional financial market, that they were losing money. And they basically said, hey, I'm taking my money and going to Bitcoin. I was like, whoa, I do have Bitcoin that I purchased in 2014. I completely forgot about it. I'm like, let me take a look and see what it's doing. And then when I saw what it was doing, I was like, whoa, it's up to $800. I'm like, this is awesome. And then I realized, wow, there's all these exchanges and there's all these coins that just came out of nowhere because it was out of sight, out of mind for me. I really didn't think about cryptocurrency. And when I first bought Bitcoin, it was only Coinbase, Bitstamp, Mt. Gox, that existed. And I had an account on Mt. Gox. I just never bought anything. It was basically Coinbase that I bought something in March of 2014. But yeah, recently, it was March 16th, I think it was. It was really when I started doing the live stream. So if you go back and look at my videos, the first day I started doing live stream was really the first day that I purchased Bitcoin, I sold it, and then I purchased Ethereum. I think that was the title. Purchased Bitcoin, sold it, purchased Ethereum, looking to do analysis to get out or something to that extent was a title. But that was really when I first started buying, cryptocurrencies and trading them. And I started the account with $8,033. I think if you watch my videos, you'll see that, I started out with $8,033. So, but yeah, so cryptocurrency not long, traditional financial market for a very long time. But if you can trade the traditional financial market, you can really trade anything as long as it's got candlesticks, got up and down movements, got momentum. The patterns are the same. Indicators are the same. Really the only thing, and I'll be honest with you guys, the only thing I'm lacking is really the fundamental behind, behind some of these cryptocurrencies. I know some of the fundamentals behind the popular ones, but I just don't really have the time to kind of analyze and do a fundamental analysis on a lot of these coins because it's really not that much of an interest to me. Let's see, Ethereum, bullish move on Ethereum. From where it came from, that 300 and 341, it is looking bullish. It's still above that bottom. So anything above that bottom is bullish. But once she starts getting close to that 341, then yeah, we're going to be in bearish territory. And this 5-minute, 15-minute candlestick is not looking too good at all. Let me look at actually a good charting system. Let me draw some arrows here. This would be bullish if I can get my trend line. Yeah, I can't draw a trend line. But yeah, if this thing was staying above, a trend line that I would draw out from this 341 and kind of, going straight up to right up here. But yeah, it would be breaking below the trend line that I would be drawing. So I don't think it's bullish yet. Now if she can get into some nice move to the upside and she's just continuously grinding up to the upside, then yes, that would definitely be bullish. But right now, it's still, bearish territory. we'll see. I mean, we don't really have much of a data to kind of go off of this, in the sense that it just got to 341. For it to be in a bullish to get right back up to that possible 400, yeah, we need to see a better pattern than this pattern. We need to just see a continuous grind to the upside and having little dips here. So really, when it dipped here, it should have continued that upward trend again and possibly gotten to 380 bucks. It should have for it to be bullish. But considering she went sideways and now she's dipping, yeah, this is still bearish territory for me. I've used Fibonacci retracement, but it clouds my judgment, guys. It really does. I mean, we can put some indicators on here. I'll put the Achimoki cloud, but I'm going to get rid of this 26. Actually, I can't get rid of the 26. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, currently right now, she's really ready to go into the red cloud. We definitely want her to be into the green cloud. But you guys, I mean, there's so many different indicators you can use, but don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of these indicators. They will definitely cloud your judgment. When it's telling you to get out, you're getting out, and might not be the perfect opportunity to get out. I mean, to keep things simple, to be honest with you, volume, RSI, EMA, MACD, maybe SMA. Really, those are the 5 that I heavily use. Everything else, I mean, I'll look at it, but I don't try to use them to come up with an analysis. But yeah, but there's so many different indicators you can use, and not every trader uses the same indicators. I've seen some traders just load up their screen with so many indicators, and I'm like, dude, I can't even see the chart. Like, I can't even see the candlesticks. I have no clue how these candlesticks are forming. Especially to be on an uptrend, you want the current candlestick to be opening up at the prior candlestick's closing price. That's what you want to see. Once it starts to dip and it's opening up below the current candlestick's closing price, then, it should throw a little bit of red flag, and you should really pay attention to a lot of other things in the sense of the volume, the RSI. But yeah, when you have too many indicators on there, it's just like it completely clouds your judgment. Like, there's just too many things on here now. It's like, okay, I can't even really pay attention to the candlesticks. So that's why I use a KISS method, just keep it simple. Use a couple indicators that you're very familiar with, that have really proven themselves to you, instead of just loading up your screen with so many different indicators. If the Fibonacci retracement works for you, I mean, the Fibonacci retracement is great. It's basically plotting out in the sense of percentage, where the resistance might be. I would rather plot out my own support and resistance, and then look at the order book and see if those support and resistance or probability of them being accurate is good. But yeah, I can care less about the 50-day EMA. I usually take out the 50-day EMA, and I'll do a 5 and a 10. Yeah, Post. I mean, yeah, we're all babies in this game, man. We're all new to this game. I mean, the cryptocurrency market is really not that old. Bitcoin is 8 years old, but how old is really the overall cryptocurrency market? It's not that old. I mean, I think it's still crawling. It hasn't really started walking yet. Bitcoin is walking. Bitcoin's 8 years old. It's walking. I think it's getting ready to go to second or third grade. I think it's just graduating second grade. LBC, I'll take a look at it. Post, yeah. Did I? I mean, we should talk about trading all the time, and I thought you got the handle on it. But yeah, dude, it's not a problem at all. But I don't trade. I don't trade shit coins. You know that. I have bought them. I bought some for my son, and I bought GBG because it was just starting to pump, but that pump lasted like a minute and a half. But yeah, I stay away from shit coins. I stay away from ICOs that are just being listed on an exchange. I mean, the risk is high, and the reward could be higher, but yeah, the risk is just too high for me to look at. We'll take a look at Litecoin. So somebody did ask me to take a look at LBC. So I'm going to get to the comments real quick as best as I can. If there's a comment that you really want me to get to, I highly recommend utilizing Super Chat. Yeah, I still can't draw any type of trend line. Oh, there we go. Finally. But it is slow. It is finicky. So yeah, so it's got to get above my trend line, in order for me to say yes, this is bullish. It's got to get above that. It's breaking down now. It's seriously breaking down. It's got to stay within this trend here. It's got to get back up in it. As long as it's grinding up to the upside and staying above my trend, yeah, we're bullish. And this is short term, not long term at all, guys. So I don't talk about long term outlook. I really don't. Because really, I could sell any of my stuff right away and be completely out. If I was holding long term, I probably wouldn't be looking at this chart, to be honest with you. Why isn't Litecoin over 100? It's only a matter of time, dude. It's only a matter of time. I think end of year, 100 is attainable. But it's having issues. I mean, it's getting up to that 35 and getting pulled back. It's having a hard time breaking out, above that 38.79 or 38.80, whatever it was. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll definitely take a look at it. But somebody did ask me to take a look at something else, so we'll go ahead and take a look at it. I don't even know what exchange it's on. LBC. LBC. Library. Oh, if I knew it was library, yeah, I know what exchange you're on. Let's go to I hate Poloniex charting system. LBC down 8%. Circulating supply is not too bad. 68 million total supply. Oof, $500 million. Majority of the volume is on Poloniex. Second highest on Bittrex. I wouldn't even trade on the other ones, to be honest with you. I wouldn't even trust them. All right, let's take a look and see what this is doing. Man, nobody really gives me a coin to look at when it's like flatlined. It's like everything is pumped and everything is on the upside. When you guys are giving me a recommendation, I would love to look at a coin that's just been flatlined, because then that would really pique my interest. So this wasn't listed a long time ago. This was just listed on July 5th, 2016. So almost a year ago. And of course, yeah, it was pumped hardcore. And like I said, you will see this anytime a coin, an ICO, is listed on an exchange. I mean, you're gonna have the hype, and don't feed into that hype. Wait for the correction to happen. So this is not flatline, guys, by the way. This has not flatlined at all, because we just haven't zoomed in closer. So I'm going to try to get a little more closer and see exactly what it's been doing. Yeah, I don't know. This might be piquing my interest a little bit with this, crazy cup. I mean, this looks like Bitcoin, back in 2013 when it took that crazy dive from like 1150 or 1200 down to 176. But yeah, this is the level you want to be looking at buying. These are the levels here. And with a lot of cryptocurrencies, I mean, like I've said it before, they'll pump, they'll dump, they'll flatline, they'll pump, they'll dump, they'll flatline, and it's telling you a story. It's telling you what it likes to do. So no sense of buying it at the hype, at the pump. You might as well wait for it to kind of flatline and wait for the next pump to happen, because that's the story of it. That's what it likes to do. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can recommend this, or I don't even know if I would get in this, currently, even though it is showing me a somewhat a cup and handle. I mean, it's showing me a cup. Hasn't really formed the handle yet. Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Yeah, and this isn't flagging at all. I mean, I don't see a bull flag. Now if these two candlesticks were not there, these two green candlesticks were not there, and she's just currently, having big candles, and those candles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the range is getting smaller and smaller because as the candles are getting smaller on the downtrend, the price trend is also getting tighter and tighter and tighter before it pops up. And that's usually what a bull flag is. It'll form that flag, and as that range gets tighter and tighter and it gets wedged into the tip of the flag, that's when you get a pop. But on the 1-day candlestick, I don't see that. Maybe on the 30-minute candlestick, and that might have been what happened. Did the range get tighter and tighter and tighter? No, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't know if I would be buying at these levels. I mean, this is making basically, I mean, aside from the ICO high that it made, this is making all-time highs. I would wait for a correction. I would probably, if I was looking at getting into this trade, I would take a look and see, okay, what is this going to do when it gets to possibly 17,000? Is it going to hover in that 17,000, or is it going to crack it and get down to possibly 15,000? So at 15,000, it might pique my interest if it gets to that level, for me to take a look at it and look at the order book and see where everybody's stacked up. And if I see that a lot of sellers are stacked up, then that 15,000 Satoshis might not even be a good entry, because it could actually even drop to probably a better support that I see at 10. Might be 11,000 at 11,000, because at 11,000, we had a touch here, made it back up. It attempted to break through that 1100 here, it couldn't do it. It attempted to break it here, couldn't do it. And then what do you know? Third time is a charm. It touched it, and then it was just nothing but uphill from there. So I don't know if I would touch this currently at this level, because we're basically close to the high. 2017 high, I would say. Yeah, these three levels here, this level, this level, this level, are going to be pretty key to see if it supports it and stays above those levels. So really, I mean, the first area that I would be basically paying attention to see if it would crack it, would possibly be 15,000. If it cracks to 17,000, to see if it would crack the 15,000. But if 15,000, I think is going to have good support, because that was really the resistance in the past, and it had a hard time breaking out above it. And usually, that's a magic word. Usually, what they like to do is they like to form the prior high as a current support line. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what this does, but not something I'm interested in. No, Litecoin, Litecoin, Litecoin. I think she did me a little bit dirty when she got up to 35.50, and I got a little greedy, and I was looking for 36 bucks for my exit. So I kind of lowered my sell price. That's been in the book for about 2 days to 35.37. That would give me a $5 increase per coin. Hey, Post, maybe you and I can do a live stream interview when I move into my new place and kind of get set up. Yeah, let's plan on doing a Q&A interview. All right, Litecoin. I don't know what you want me to look at in the sense of market cap. Market cap is down a little bit, down about 2 billion. I mean, it was just recently at a little over $112 billion. BTC dominance, I mean, it's dropping. It is dropping. It's not really as dominant as anymore. It doesn't have that 50% dominance or even 45% dominance that it was just at not long ago. So that tells you, Ethereum, it's catching up. It is catching up. Ripple, I don't know. I mean, Ripple's got to get, to above $1 for it to have any chance of catching up to Ethereum and Bitcoin. But yeah, there's a possibility. I mean, Ethereum could easily overtake it. I mean, we're talking about what, $8 billion difference, a little less than $8 billion. You know, if Bitcoin stays in this level and Ethereum starts moving up to the upside, breaking 420, getting to 500, it's going to catch up to it and it could overtake it. But that's as long as Bitcoin is either dropping or is pretty stagnant. But I don't know, you know, with Charlie Lee leaving Coinbase and dedicating his time to Litecoin, we'll see what he does. We will see what he does. Hopefully there's some good press release that's going to come out. Yeah, that's why I'm still holding Litecoin. You know, I still believe in Litecoin. I think she has more of an upside push than downside. Yeah, she got to 19 bucks, you know, and that was a great buying opportunity. But I don't think she's really shown us what she's capable of doing. And if we really look at the overall, let me get out of here. You know, we'll probably go into I don't know. Oh, that's Ethereum. Litecoin, where are you? Let's look at I won't look at the daily. That's just too much. I mean, this is what it's really done. You know, I mean, we're not even going to really go that far back. When it was at, you know, when we were watching this at like $3.80 and being like, yeah, not a trade I would take. It doesn't have much of a momentum, and then what do you know? It blows up. But I mean, this is a good chart. It really is. It's still on an uptrend. Yeah, you're going to have these dips and whatnot, but it's not dipping to, you know, psychological levels where it's basically in a huge bubble. I mean, it's maintaining, you know, this wide range of sideways movement, and this is a very wide range. And when I say wide, I mean from, you know, 38.91, the high that is set, to 1908. That's a huge range that is just playing, but it hasn't really dropped. I mean, you know, recently when it got to 1908, that was just on May 27th. You know, that was really the only level that it had seen. Prior to that, it hadn't fallen below 20 bucks. It maintained above $20. So, I mean, this is very bullish. And, you know, it's going to have that time when it completely just breaks out of this funk. And that's what I'll call it. I'll call it a funk. You know, this funk range that it's basically stuck in. And when it breaks out, and it breaks out above that 31.91, I mean, you know, 40.45 is definitely in sight. And if it does hit 50, it's going to pull back. If it gets up, you know, to that range that quick. But I like what it's doing. You know, I don't like the range from 38.91 to 19, but as we can see, the range is going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. But if we do have more of a drop, and I'm lucky, you know, today that with Bitcoin and Ethereum really dropping, that this had not really taken a big of a drop. Back to test that, you know, $20 level or under $20 level. I'm surprised it has not done that yet, and I'm glad it hasn't done it yet. So, I mean, you know, overall, if you're looking at this overall chart for long-term investors, yeah, this is a beautiful chart. It really is. It's maintaining. You know, it got pumped up. It had very good move to the upside. Let me see if I can draw some arrows. I mean, it got moved up. You know, and of course, you know, it's within that. It's underneath the trend line, but it's consolidating. And anything that's consolidating sideways, I would rather stick with than something that's just continuously downtrending and downtrending and downtrending. You know, spending more time downtrending to try to find its actual price than anything else. I mean, this is a beautiful chart in my opinion, and that's why I'm still holding. So, but don't use that as a trading advice. Don't use that as an advice to buy this long term, because anything could happen. Anything could happen. I just happen to have a very strong stomach that if this does drop to 20 bucks, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to panic and sell because I know it's going to make it right back up, and it has. But yeah, it should not be stuck at these levels at all. And that's the same thing that I said with Litecoin. Ethereum Classic a while back, is that it should not be stuck in these levels. It should not be stuck at $7, $8. I mean, I had a hard time breaking out above 8. And I was like, you know, minimum, this should be hovering over 10 bucks. Minimum, it should be hovering over 10 bucks. And once it really started breaking out, once it broke out above 8, 9, 10, I mean, you know, we had that day, it was up over 100%. It was huge. But yeah, I don't see why, you know, Litecoin is still stuck in this range. It's waiting for a major catalyst. It's waiting for a major news to happen. And I think if segregated witness is adopted, you know, on Bitcoin, I think this will have a bigger jump. Yeah, Bob, I'm a big fan of LTC too, and it is my biggest holding in the sense of dollar amount. Oni, welcome. Can I tell you about Boxcoin? I don't know. What do you want to know, man? If you were looking for the fundamental side, I can't. Technical, I definitely can. I don't even know what box is located on. Let's see. What exchange is it on? Bittrex, perfect. And look at how Bittrex is just dominating, box. I mean, by 92% of the volume is on Bittrex. It's easy to pump and dump this coin. It's easy to pump and dump it. I mean, the majority of the volume is controlled by one exchange. That is not healthy. Not healthy at all. Another recommendation for me to look at something after it's been pumped. Man, guys, find something good for me, because then I might get into a trade. If you find something good for me and it's at the flatline stage, I will transfer some coins over to Bittrex and actually take a position. Let's look at the one-day time frame. Man, not listed too long ago. Listed July 5th. Not too long ago. I feel like I already looked at this. Oh, yeah, okay, I did, because it's stuck on library. I'm like, did I just look at this chart? Sorry. All right. So just listed at beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, they listed it. Oh, man, this might be interesting. I think this kind of piqued my interest a little bit. Whoever asked me to look at box, thank you. Volume 98. Yeah, volume could be a little better. So if you guys are looking at this, I mean, what is this really telling you? I mean, basically, pump, the dump, flat lines, pump, dump, flatline, just for a very small time frame. But yeah, I mean, if I zoom out, yeah, it looks like it's just been flatlining. And then, if somebody's only looking at that and they decide to do a market buy order, then yeah, they would be kind of possibly buying in high. But yeah, this has definitely piqued my interest. Not for a long-term investment, or it could be, depending if I find a bottom entry, and that bottom entry is going to be, 500 satoshis, 550 satoshis, 540 satoshis, something to that extent there. But if it cracks 540 satoshis, yeah, we could have a new all-time low. Yeah, but based on where it's been, it's definitely piquing my interest. It's just not piquing my interest because it hasn't really flatlined. But I'm going to put this on my list to watch. And if I do get into these trades, I mean, you guys will know. So that is on my watch list on a piece of notepad to see if it's going to retest, the 540, 550 level. And if it does retest the 540, 550 level, yeah, you know what? I might take a position and wait for a pump to happen to 3,000. It looks like 3,500, because that's what it likes to do. But yeah, if you're looking at this and possibly looking at getting an entry, wait for that flat line. But yeah, thanks whoever told me to look at box, because that's on my list now. Clock. Is clock even on Bittrex? It is not. Let's go to CoinMarketCap. Oh, it is on Bittrex. Bittrex controlling about 77% of the volume. Livecoin, and I do have an account at Livecoin. I have not used it yet, but they control about 20% of the volume. Yeah, I just don't like that. Majority of the volume is controlled by one exchange. I really do not like that at all. Bitcoin is low and flat. I don't know, man. I looked at it yesterday, but I'll look at it again. It hadn't planned out to where I would be interested in it. Yeah, Bitcoin would have been great in 6 Satoshi. 6 Satoshi, the high that it had basically maintained for a very long time. I mean, going from 4 Satoshis or 3 Satoshis to 6 Satoshi. That's all it was doing, bouncing up and down between 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4 before somebody decided to pump it. So Cloac, I think I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Cloac, when were you listed? 2014. It's been around for a while. And I like that because then I like the data. But yeah, as you guys can see, listed, FOMO kicks in because everybody thinks it's a great project. They would rather, what did Logan, actually, I don't know if Logan's on here, but I'm going to steal your comment, Logan. I hope you don't mind. Logan says, they'll fund it before they build it. The best thing to do is build whatever project you're working on and then fund it. And, that's what's happening with a lot of these coins. So Logan hit it right on the head. They're basically funding it before they build it, and they haven't proven anything. So the FOMO kicked in, and people were like, "Oh, this is a great project. The white paper sounds great. I'm going to get in this." If they got in down here, yeah, they're good, as long as they sold somewhere up here. But if they didn't sell up here, then it tanked on them. But if anybody bought at the top there and didn't sell, oh man, they probably sold down here. Is what they did because they got fed up with it. Because really, this really didn't do much at all. Yeah, little upticks here and there from, let's just say 2,000 Satoshis to 5,000 Satoshi. Yeah, if you got into 2,000 Satoshis and held it for a little while, got out at 5,000, it's great. But for anybody that bought it when it was first listed, yeah, I'm sorry. So what does this thing like to do? What do you like to do? She definitely likes that 5,000 Satoshi range. She likes the 5,000, but she's dipping below it. So, and this is a reason why it's always good to kind of wait for it and wait for it to flatline and get a good entry. Now, you could have gotten, a high entry. Maybe you didn't get a 5,000 entry. Maybe you didn't get a 6,000 entry. Maybe you got, somehow, some way a 25,000 entry. You bought it up here. And if you were really looking at this chart, you can be like, man, it has not been pumped in a while at all. And then what do you know? You got in 25,000 Satoshis, and they had a little mini pump. You took your profit, waited for it, to pull back down. Yeah, that's why it's not a good idea to hold these long term. I mean, once they get pumped, lock in the profit. It's going to come back down. It is. What goes up comes down, and then you can buy more with the capital that you started out with and the profit that you took from it. You can actually buy more and make a lot more money. So I don't recommend holding any of these crap coins, to be honest with you. I mean, if it gets pumped, lock in those profits and wait for a recorrection to buy back in. But yeah, this thing likes to be dumped and it likes to be pumped. Is it flagging? And too bad I can't draw. I can't draw much. Yeah, I mean, this is probably a good indication of a possible, and I mean, I need to get a little more granular on this, more of a nice bull flag, and that was on a longer time frame. So it might show me something on a longer time frame that does not show me on a shorter time frame. Yeah, so this is not flagging at all at its current level. It's not. It showed me that it was flagging on a longer time frame, but on a shorter time frame, no, it's not. The flagging happened here, basically. I mean, if we draw a straight line from where it hit that bottom, or from where really, let's zoom in a little bit more on this. Where all this commotion kind of happened, it got pumped and it got dumped, and it found a happy medium before kind of heading up to the upside. If you really just take a straight line and draw it there, and then take another line from the top and bring it down, you'll see exactly where the flag is, and you'll see exactly where that wedge is. And it basically, hit the wedge and went sideways a little bit. It didn't pop like they normally would, but it kind of went sideways before popping up a little bit. So I don't know. This could go either way. This could go either way. But I would be looking at the levels to see if if it's going to get below 80. 87,000 Satoshis. I mean, there's definitely different levels for it to start cracking and see if she's going to start coming down. So first level would probably be 115,000. Let's just say 116,000. And then second level will be right around that 87,000 range. So if it starts breaking those ranges, then we know, you know what, it's downtrending. It's going to keep downtrending. And I'll keep an eye on it and maybe put in a low ball offer before going to bed. $25.37 for BTC, $3.53 for Ethereum, $28.74. I don't like this $28.74, but that's okay. Yeah, everything was down today, guys. So, you know, if you're looking for an entry, this might be the time to look for an entry. Now, I haven't looked at the overall, you know, what the overall altcoins are doing, but based on the major cryptocurrencies, and yeah, it's down, and it's going to provide somebody a great opportunity. XRP seems to be holding up well. Verge seems to be holding up well. DGB is definitely not holding up well for anybody that bought it. Shift is the leader, 198%. I don't really look at percentage gains, but we'll take a look at percentage gains just to see if anything got beat up that normally would not be beat up. Post, your pot coin is down 15%. I got your text yesterday saying, hey, pot's going up, and it was going up. What is MGO? MGO looks like it's either just being listed or it's being delisted. Mobile Go. Let me know if you guys have heard of it. I don't know if it's just being listed or if it's being delisted. No buying though. There's nobody that's buying this. There's only sellers that want to sell. So yeah, this thing's not going to be moving at all. Well, it really has nowhere to move to. Somebody needs to step in and buy. But yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out on that to see what that does. But yeah, not much really, to be honest with you guys. There really isn't much that's being affected by what BTC is doing in the sense of the major cryptocurrencies. What is Shift? Byte Shift. There's tons of bytes. I'm surprised nobody asked me to take a look at this. Or maybe the guys did, and I just missed the message. But yeah, the FOMO kicked in on this. Somebody pumped it good. And this is a clear indication. Let's zoom in a little bit here. This is a clear indication that this was going to be pumped. Of course, you know, flatlined. And this is a 30-minute chart, flatline. Volume was nothing. Volume did not exist until this candlestick hit. And then that should have drawn some sort of an interest. You know, it should have piqued an interest to say, all right, let's see what this is going to do. Let's see how long this lasts for. And it actually just gradually went up. It wasn't a very quick, sudden, you know, uplift to the upside and then it came crashing back down. It actually sustained this nice movement. And then volume just started increasing. And when you see volume increasing, you know, that could be fake volume or real volume. I mean, but, you know, here I would say the volume was 113,000. I wouldn't think that's fake at all. Yeah, I'm just basically visualizing the trend line that I would draw from this candlestick here where it all began and hugging this candlestick, and just working my way straight up in between these candlesticks here. So it is downtrending from its high. Yes, it's up from, you know, from wherever it was today that it started. Or actually, this started yesterday. But yeah, it is on a downtrend from its all-time high. So to me, even though it's up from yesterday, it's looking to be bearish. from the current trend line that I have, unless it gets above that trend line. As long as it stays above that trend line and hugs it, then we know we're in a bullish territory, you know, and the momentum will kick in. But yeah, this is up. I wouldn't buy this right now, though. I would not be interested in this. Hasn't done much, especially in the past. All right, let me see if I can get to some of these comments, and then 1 o'clock I will be ending this live stream. So if you have any questions to ask me, definitely let me know. And if you're part of our Slack chat, there is a channel called you know, I think Q&A or question and answer or questions for CryptoTrader. Leave those questions on there, and you know, when I see them, if I think I should take those questions and do a YouTube video on them, I'll do a YouTube video. Or, you know, I might just, if it's a very quick, simple question, I might just respond right to that question. So if you're on our Slack chat room, I highly recommend utilizing the question and answer type of tab or the channel, and leave all your questions on there. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Ah, red coin. You did ask me to take a look at that. Before the end of summer, you think LTC is going to moon hard? I'll see. I think with Mr. Lee, like I said, leaving Coinbase and, you know, hopefully dedicating all his time and energy into his little baby, Litecoin, then yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell. Oh man, where have you been? Redcoin, where have you been? I'm surprised this thing hasn't crashed hard and crashed below 25 Satoshis. I'm very surprised. I mean, I would have even been leery to buy it at this correction here at 43 Satoshis. I would have been like, no way. I mean, this thing came from like 4 Satoshis. From 4 Satoshis to 6 Satoshis to 14 Satoshis. I mean, then it just started exploding. Yeah, I probably wouldn't even bought this at 43 or 45. Would have touched 42 was the low that it touched, expecting that it would get down to 20. So I'm surprised this has not crashed down to 20 yet. But I'm still not interested in Redcoin, by the way. So just because I look at it does not mean I'm interested in it. Now, if she starts dipping and really she starts breaking the 42, which is a low that it had set prior to the high, because it had already, really, it didn't make the previous high a new support. It has not done that. It cracked through it, because this is the previous high here. It cracked through that previous high, so that indicates to me that that is not really a support that buyers are willing to support that price at. Now, yes, it has corrected a little bit to get up to the high price of this, but it has not really proven to me that she can sustain it. She should have stayed above it from the get-go. So, I mean, you know, we could have a drop. And if this drops to 42, I might be somewhat interested in it to see if she's going to get down to 20. If she gets down to 20, then yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind taking a very small position, and I mean very small position. Nothing too big. And if she drops to 10, add more to it, because eventually, over time, she can be pumped again, and it's just a matter of time. So, I mean, looking at this chart here, you know, there has been some pumps and dumps within the chart. So, what did this get up to? Did they even hit 200? 139. What was the high here? The high there was only 40. So yeah, I mean, this is breaking all barriers, hitting all new time highs, considering the high here was only 35 before she grinded down to 3 to 6 Satoshis. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep an eye on Redcoin. Nothing I'm interested in the sense of the technical side of it, not the fundamental side. The fundamental side might be great. I don't really know much about the fundamental side of it, but the technical side, yeah, you know, she's got a dip. I got to let her come to me. I can't go to her. It's not Bitcoin. It's not Ethereum. It's not Litecoin. It's not Ethereum Classic. So I just covered Vox, man. I don't know what you want to know about Vox. Or maybe you were the one that asked me about Vox. Yeah, you were the one. Okay, so I'm just getting to these messages kind of late, to be honest with you guys. So I do apologize. Redcoin is low and flat. I don't think it's flat, bud. Yeah, definitely a coin to keep an eye on to see if it's going to retest those support levels. And if it does, yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt with any of these cryptocurrencies. I mean, they've proven to us, that they have the ability to go up a lot, even in these crap coins. And as long as you can find the bottom and you're not getting in at the high, there's nothing wrong with taking that trade and holding it for the next pump. But just be prepared when that pump happens to get out. And if you're not prepared, you're not looking at it, you don't have alerts set. Actually, I don't even think you can set alerts on Bittrex. But yeah, if you're not really keeping an eye on the price action, you might actually miss the pump, and you just basically, miss a big portion of the profit that you would have made. E-currency coin. What's the symbol? Man, you guys want me to take a look at a lot of coins. I don't know if I have all the time for this. Telegram group. I should open it. What is that? Sadula. I don't think I missed a prior message from you. Sadula, it's the first time I'm seeing your name, bud. Welcome, man. Kef halik. Alhamdulillah. I don't know what the Telegram group man is, but ECC. I mean, I got about 6 minutes, guys, for me to take a look at coins. And you guys are recommending a lot for me to look at. I tell you what, if you utilize Super Chat, I will go ahead and look at whatever cryptocurrency you want me to look at. But yeah, I'm going to kind of go back to Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, and Litecoin just momentarily before the live stream ends. And if you do a Super Chat and ask me to take a look at a cryptocurrency, then I will 100% take a look at it, even if that time goes past 1 p.m. Bitcoin seems to be the biggest loser today, especially out of what I'm looking at on CryptoWatch. I mean, down 10%. I wonder if I'm going to be able to get an entry at 2,000 later on. And I do have an open order in for 2,000 to buy 2.25 Bitcoins. And I think I would be very happy at 2,000. I would be extremely happy. Considering, she touched at 1913 and went up with a vengeance. She has the ability, to drop 800 to 900 to $1,000 and make it right back up within several days. But yeah, I think, I will be looking at Bitcoin heavily to take a position, because that's really, that's really the position that I need right now. Considering I have a position in Ethereum Classic, Litecoin. I won't even include Ripple in there, to be honest with you. BTC is really what I'm missing. I need a position in BTC, but I need that position to come to me. I can't chase it. Sadula, we do have a group. We have a Slack chat group, and anybody's invited to this Slack chat. It's a general free chat room that we're giving out. So just remember, it's a general chat room. It's not the actual traders chat room. That's a completely different service. But if you're looking for a place to hang out and keep the conversation going with like-minded people from all over the world talking about cryptocurrencies and things like that, I highly recommend signing up for our mailing list. There is a link at the bottom of this video, or you can just go to CryptoTradersRoom.com. It'll just ask you a couple questions to answer. Excuse me. Once you do that, one of my members will get that request to send you an invite. They'll send you an invite, and you'll have access to that free general chat room, if that's what you're asking me. Nah, no downloading external programs at all, bud. Yeah, once you get that invite to our Slack chat room, you have access to it. You can just go to slack.com. I'd be asked to create an account. Of course, you need a user ID and password to be able to log into it. But yeah, there's no downloading of anything. And I would be a little leery. So, and my moderators are pretty good at catching this. But if anybody, puts a link up and asks you to click on it, don't click on it, please. More likely, the moderators will delete that comment. But if you do end up clicking on it before they delete it, just remember, you could be putting yourself at risk. So never click on the link that somebody provides you. But yeah, and that's what we're looking to do with Crypto Traders Room. It's just, create a community. especially with that free general chat room, just to create a community for everybody to kind of hang out and talk cryptocurrency or whatever might be on your mind. And I mean, right now, I think we got over 80 people. Last time I talked to ECS, it was 80 people. So it's definitely over 80 people now, from all over the world. So, as the channel grows, there'll always be somebody there to chat with. It might not be a packed house, but there'll always be somebody to chat with. BIP 148 is coming August 1st. Yes, indeed it is. People will dump BTC, and that's what I'm expecting. Yeah, it's going to create a lot of panic. I mean, you got the user-activated soft fork, possibly user-activated hard fork. You got segregated witness. I mean, there's just a lot going on for BTC to cause a lot of volatility, And this is, we might not have these opportunities at all when that volatility is created and we get a crazy dip. We might not have those dips again, to be honest with you. If this thing violently dips because of what's going to be happening August 1st, I don't think we'll ever see those levels again once, all that crazy situation gets situated with. That's what I'm thinking, Daniel. That's exactly what I'm thinking. After this crazy volatility, after August 1st kind of subsides, that, BTC will be back up on this uptrend. But I don't want to see BTC just violently go up to the upside. I want to see it slowly but surely grind up to the upside. Because, there's a lot of long-term investors that I know, and I would not want them to panic sell. So, even if I'm in it and I'm a day trader, I would like to see it gradually grind up to the upside. Yeah, and that's why I would say, have money on the sideline waiting. And when I mean on the sideline, I don't mean having it in your bank account. I mean, have it on an exchange, especially if you're not using Gemini. If you're using Gemini, then, you're fine because you can easily deposit, $500, $1,000. But it might not be at the time that you're actually looking to put it in when BTC decides if it tanks, because of what's going to be happening August 1st. So I always recommend, have USD waiting on the sideline to be able to jump on that opportunity when it presents itself, because it might not present itself again. Sadula, you're saying can't see chat link. So it's our link to our website. So if you basically, look under the video, it says stay connected. And there's a link for our website, YouTube, Steemit, Twitter, Facebook. Just type in www.cryptotradersroom.com. I don't think it's hyperlinked for some apparent reason. And it'll take you right to our landing page to sign up for our mailing list. And once you sign up for our mailing list, just wait for the invite from Slack. Also check your junk mail. Sometimes I've heard, our Slack invite going to somebody's junk mail or spam mail. But, I mean, the guys that handle that, I mean, they're on par. They're on top of it. When somebody comes in and signs up for our mailing list, they'll send them that invite instantly right away. And just verify your email address, because I had somebody email me and say, hey, I signed up for your mailing list, but I haven't gotten the invite. I'm like, we're on top of this. We always send the invite out. He just happened to miss a letter in his email, and that's why he didn't get it. Can I look at Burst? Yeah, sure, I can definitely do that. I don't have much time though, but I can definitely look at that, and I think that'll be the only cryptocurrency I look at will be Burst. Unless you guys do super chat. If you use super chat, then I will definitely stay on longer and take a look at whatever cryptocurrency you want me to look at. Oh, Doji. Doji's not doing too good. I'm surprised my son is not asking me about it. He's always like, how's my Doge doing? I'm like, not as good as you want it to do. Missing a chart for some apparent reason. Why am I missing a chart? Ah, there we go. All right, Doge. I need Bittrex for that. I can't use Poloniex. Actually, no, it wasn't Doge. It was Burst. Burst. Daniel, what are you saying? Bank accounts are out. Yeah, I don't think they'll be out anytime soon. I mean, I don't know. I mean, years and years and years down the road, possibly, yes. I mean, look at payphones, look at landlines, yes. Uh, when they're backed by the Federal Reserve and the government, I doubt they'll go under. They're going to list a coin very soon, a few days from now, that has a card you can get and use it in the ATM. I mean, they already have that though. That's nothing new. They already have the Shift card. Coinbase has a Shift card. Dash, what is it? Dash Mastercard or Dash Visa. Um, so it's already out there. But the thing is, I mean, we got to go through Visa or Mastercard, whoever's issuing that card. So they need to create their own card. Like Coinbase would need to create their own card so they're not utilizing Visa, because Visa could shut them down anytime, or MasterCard could shut them down anytime, and then that card is useless. What is Super Chat? Maybe you just said, but I had to step away. So Super Chat is a way for you guys to get my attention. And as this live stream grows and there's a lot of people and everybody is chatting and I can't get to every message, if you use Super Chat, you can use Super Chat for $1, $2, really any increments that you want. That message will stand out. And I will see that message and I can respond to that message, where I've missed tons of messages. And I'm sure I had some great questions that somebody was asking me, but there's just no way for me to get to them, to be honest with you. As more people are chatting and as I'm talking, analyzing a chart, there's just really no way for me to get to your comment. So if it's important, you want me to get to it, you can utilize Super Chat and, pay, donate whatever you want to donate, $1, $2. I mean, I think it goes all the way up to like $500. And then I can easily, look at that. And I think the more that you put in, the longer that message stays up, and it'll catch my eyes. Because really, I mean, I'm looking at 4 monitors right now. I mean, I'm only sharing 1 monitor with you guys, and then I have the chat section on a different monitor. And then, so I mean, I'm looking at a lot of things, and it's very easy for me to miss a very important question that you guys might have. And if I've missed a very important question, I do apologize. It's not my intentions to miss those questions at all. Yes, ECS, thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it, man. WorldCoin Index. I wrote that on a piece of paper. Let me see if I still have that. Yeah, I did. Yep. WorldCoin Index. And I forgot to look at it. I was like, oh, let me jot this down. I'll go ahead and research it. But I forgot to. Yeah, I've heard that's actually very good in comparison to CoinMarketCap. You bought Bitcoin for 2,715. Should you sell it now? You should have, Sydney. You should have had an exit plan. No, I would not sell. Honestly, I would not sell Bitcoin. I don't know what exchange you bought it on, to be honest with you. So if you tell me you bought something, if you want to share what exchange it is, let me know what exchange it is. But if it's Bitfinex, I mean, 2405, you're selling at the low. I mean, the game of the plan is to, buy low and sell high, not buy high and sell low. Even though 2715, depending on what exchange you bought it at, it dipped from that 3,000, because really it did break 3,000 on Bitfinex. BTC broke 3,000, $3,003, I think it was. It's just on Coinbase or GDAX that it has not broken above 3,000 yet. It got knocked down from $2,299.99. It couldn't do it. There was just a huge sell wall of like 240, 250 coins at that $3,000 price point. And what do you think traders are going to do? They're going to be like, well, I'm going to undercut this seller at $3,000, and I'm going to sell, at $299.98, $299.97, and start working its way down. No, I would not sell, to be honest with you. It's Bitcoin. Now, if it was one of these crap coins, Sydney, I would say, yeah, you might want to analyze that a little better and have an exit strategy. And I mean, you should still have an exit strategy. I mean, you had a strategy to get in, I hope. I hope you bought at a resistance for 2715, and I hope that wasn't the high when you bought it. But you should always have an exit strategy. But with Bitcoin, I think you can kind of veer away from that exit strategy just a little bit, because it will make it back up. I just don't know when. But yeah, I would not panic sell with Ethereum, with BTC, with Litecoin, with Ethereum Classic. I would not panic sell with those at all. Because more than likely, when you panic sell, you're selling at the bottom. before it actually starts to turn around. That's usually what used to happen to me in the stock market. I was selling, I'm like, oh man, that was the bottom. I thought I was cutting my loss. And I thought I was going to minimize the amount that I was going to lose. Yeah, I agree. Whoever said don't sell, Bob, yeah, don't sell. Will it go up or keep dropping? I mean, really, cryptocurrency or stocks are only going to do three things. It's either going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to go sideways. And you got to really look at the probabilities. You got to, like I said, you got to plot out your support, your resistance. You got to look at the order history to see who stacked up at what price. I think I hope nobody bought BTC at $2,999.99. I hope nobody did it, because if they did, then they were not looking at the order book. Because if they would have looked at the order book, they would have said, no, there's no sense in me buying it here. There's somebody that's just preventing this thing from going up. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see what happens. I'm going to wait for a dip. But there were people selling, at $2,999.99, which means that there was somebody buying at $2,999.99, unfortunately. It's just the way it goes. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to say whether it's going to go up or keep dipping. It all depends on where the sellers and the buyers are stacked up. And I'm going to get to a couple of these comments, and I'm going to get to Burst, and I got to end it there, guys. But I did promise I would take a look at Burst. Whoever asked me to look at Burst. Lots of panic in the BTC market. Yeah, I mean, it's just not the BTC. Ethereum as well, too, and Ethereum Classic and Litecoin. Especially kind of walk away from your computer. I'm not going to panic sell at these levels. I'm not at all. I mean, I am in the profit, and I'm in a profit pretty big on Ethereum. I mean, I bought it at 177, so I can afford these dips because I'm still in the profit. Yeah, I'm giving up, a high profit than I should be giving up, but I'm still in the profit, and I'm not risking my capital. Now, in the sense of Litecoin, yes, I'm down from my initial capital investment in it, because considering I bought it at $30.36 or 37 cents. I'm sorry. Considering I bought it at that price, and it's dipped. I mean, it's at basically, let's just say it's $29 now. So $1.46 that I'm down. But this is not a cryptocurrency that I would panic sell on, because I know it has the ability to get back up, and I have a longer outlook for Litecoin. What is a good entry for BTC? I have a 2,000 entry. Is it going to get there? I don't know. Can it get there at midnight when everybody's sleeping? Possibly. I've seen a violent dip. And what is BTC on? And I mean, it could easily drop 500. I don't think it's going to get to my $2,000 buy-in level. I doubt it, but it doesn't hurt to put that level in. I mean, we've seen what BTC can do. We've seen how much it can drop, and we've seen how much it can rise. So that's why I had that lowball offer in. And who was it? I don't know if it was Sydney that bought at 27.50. But let's just say it drops to 2,000. I would add more. I don't know how many you bought, but I would maybe add one more to lower that cost average a little bit. Yeah, 27.15 is high considering the price where it's at now. But I would possibly be looking to add, especially Bitcoin. If I bought it, even if I bought it 3,000, let's just say hypothetically, I bought one Bitcoin at 3,000. I would be looking to add at 2,500 one more Bitcoin to lower my cost average to 2,750. That's really the best thing to do. Yeah, be patient. Yep, Stefan, you're exactly right. I don't know if it'll go up quick, but be patient. Is it the same in Coinbase? In the sense of the price, or in the sense of it going up? Let me see. I think I might have missed your question. Let's see. I might have missed something. I don't know. But Stefan is saying Coinbase is real. I don't know if anybody was thinking that Coinbase was fake. Coinbase is real, BTC. But then you should send to blockchain to hold secure. Yeah, you should. I mean, especially if you're holding long term. I mean, you have a couple of different options. The blockchain, a hardware wallet, or even, Coinbase does supply you with a vault. So, if I do buy BTC and I'm planning on holding that long term, actually what I might do is move it over to Coinbase from GDAX and put it in the vault. So, the vault's going to be a lot more safer than having it on the exchange. Sydney, yes. I mean, if you don't have any money in your account, then you really can't buy anything. So yes, so if it drops and you want to buy more, you do need money in your account. Can buy from many places, just research first. Exactly. I agree with that, Stefan. Good afternoon from Rio de Janeiro. Lily the dog. It's been a while since you've been on this live stream. What is recovery rights on Bitfinex? I don't know what that means. Recovery rights? I don't think we have any rights. That's why they're all decentralized. But if you wanted to clarify on that, I'll gladly, I don't know. We'll see. But let me see if I can get to some of these comments, and then yeah, I gotta look at Burst, and then I gotta go. Sydney, I don't know if you're part of our Slack chat, but if you are not, please join our Slack chat and feel free to ask those questions. You know, where it says questions for CryptoTrader. There's a channel for that. Any questions you have, just post them on there, and I'll do my best to try to respond to them on the Slack chat or to respond to them on the YouTube channel. I'm trying to understand this question. CZ in plus 500. If I bought it at 2,700, which you did, and it drops to 2,500, I need to go in and put more money, or it closes at 25. No, it never closes unless you decide to close it out. So let's say hypothetically, I buy Bitcoin at $3,000. I buy one Bitcoin, and I just leave it there, and it drops to 2,500. It drops to 2,000. It drops to 1,000. I still have my one Bitcoin. It's just the value of that Bitcoin has fluctuated, has dropped, because I paid $3,000 for that one Bitcoin, and now the price for one Bitcoin is $2,000. So my one Bitcoin is not worth $3,000; it's worth $2,000. So that means that I lost 1,000. So you're only basically down the USD, but you don't lose the Bitcoin, and your order does not close out. It only closes when you say, you know what, I'm ready to sell it now, and you hit the sell button, or you put in a limit order to sell 2,500. As long as you don't sell, it's there. You're good. So you don't have to add any money to it. I think that was a confusion there. You're thinking that you have to add $200 more if it drops to 2,500 to bring it up to 2,700. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Let's just say you bought it at 3,000. I'm gonna use easy numbers here. Let's say you bought it at 2,000. You bought one Bitcoin at $2,000, and it drops to 1,000. So your one Bitcoin is worth $1,000. If you buy one more Bitcoin at $1,000, now you have two Bitcoins. Your first Bitcoin you bought at $2,000. Your second Bitcoin you bought at $1,000. That gives you an average price of $1,500, if that makes sense. So you have two Bitcoins now on an average price of $1,500. So those two Bitcoins that you have, if the price starts to rise and get back up to the $2,000, your $3,000 investment just became $4,000, because 2,000 times the two coins that you have equals $4,000, if that makes sense. And I'm hoping I explained it the right way. But yeah, you don't have to put any more money in to the exchange just because the value has dropped. Now, if you're utilizing the margin, yes, you definitely want to add money to that account before they decide to liquidate it because it falls below the threshold. I hope I answered that correctly, Bud. I really do. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. All right, there's too many comments for me to get to, unfortunately, and I do apologize. Lily Dog, shorting a margin are really for pros and people who can handle the loss and the emotional swings. Yes, and really, I mean, you don't have to be a pro at it. You just got to learn to use it in moderation until you become really good at it. And then you can decide, you know what, I want to leverage whatever they're giving me. They're giving me twice the amount. I'm going to leverage all of it until you get comfortable with it. But yeah, it's a dangerous game to play with margin. Very dangerous game. All right, going back to Burst. So whoever asked me to look at Burst, I do apologize for not looking at Burst. But I'm going to look at it now for you. Where has Burst been? Where have you been? Listed in 2014, September 15th of 2014. Man, it had a nice flat line in 2015, October 2015, 13 cents. I think it got to low like 10 cents. Whew. I mean, that was really the opportunity. That was the opportunity, man. Early, 2016, end of 2015, beginning of 2016 was really the opportunity. And that's, when January 1st, 2016 is when I started YouTube and started doing, little videos that I would kind of, record the screen, talk into it, and upload it to YouTube before I started doing live streams on March 17th or March 16th. But yeah, that was the opportunity. What was the high that it set? 940,000 Satoshis. So there's a lot of people that got burst rich. I mean, think about it, in 5.5 months, going from 10 Satoshis to, almost 1,000 Satoshis. That's insane. That was a 1,000% bagger there. Oh man, I don't know. I can't really tell you what this is going to do, to be honest with you. But I would like to see it hitting key support levels. Yeah, that's what I would like to see. And that major support level is going to be right at 375, something to that extent. Current price 593. What's the traders? Where are they stacked up? 21 million on the buy side. Oof, 28 million on the sell side. Is that correct? Yeah, so sellers are outweighing buyers on this. That's not good. Yeah, I mean, if this is a cryptocurrency you're interested in, this is what I would recommend. Pick 5 of your favorite, crap coins, whatever it might be. And really look at the chart every day. Every day, look at the chart and look at different time frames. Look at the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, one day. Plot out your support lines and see, every single day, what is this doing? Is it hitting those support lines and bouncing up, or is it just continuously cracking through the support lines and not coming back up? And then, that way you could actually find a good entry instead of buying it here and wishing and hoping that it actually goes up. That's my honest recommendation, because anything could happen with burst. I mean, burst can come right back down to the 100 Satoshi range. I'm not saying that it will, but it could. So first area that I would be looking at in the sense of burst to see if it maintains it, to see if it's going to be bullish, is 500. If it cracks below 500, watch out. Watch out. Because then it could really come down to this consolidation stage here, and that consolidation is right around 400. So I mean, if I was really looking at this, I would plot out my course and say, okay, you know what, let's see what this does at 500. And if it starts dipping close to it, really pay attention to the order book and see, where the buyers and sellers are stacked up. Right now, there are more sellers stacked up than there are buyers, which would tell me, it might. And this was exactly if we were at that support level right now at this particular moment, which we're not though. So remember that we're not. But if we were, I would say, you know what, it's already gotten close to that 500 support line. But there are, more sellers outweighing the buyers by about, close to 9 million. I'm not going to buy here because that's my probability is not going to be true. So then I would be looking at other areas. I'd maybe look at the 450 area, the 550 area. And if I'm looking at the 450, 550 area, then I would go to that exact price range on the sell side and see how many people are stacked up I'm sorry, you won't see the sell side, the buy side, to see how many people are stacked up on the buy side at that 450 level and $500 and 500 Satoshi level. And if tons of people are stacked up and there's tons of burst coins that are stacked up to be bought at that level, then your probabilities are correct that, nobody's stacked up at 500. More of them are stacked up at 450. But you know what? Let me try to get in at 451 and try to beat the crowd. But yeah, it's hard for me to say what burst is going to do right now based on the order book. I would say it's going to take a dip. It's going to come down. I mean, it's outweighed by about 8 million on the sell side. So the sell side outweighs the buy side by about 8 million coins. So hopefully that was helpful. I forget who it was that asked me to take a look at that. Leo dog, yes. And I've said this before, your hold time should depend on how many coins you're holding. The bigger the holding that you have, and if you're day trading, this is only for day traders, the bigger the holding you have, the shorter your hold time should be. The smaller your holding, then the longer your holding period can be, because if it does dip, you're not going to take that much of a hit in the sense of fiat. But yeah, if you have a large position and it starts to dip on you, and it starts to dip and starts to dip, yeah, I mean, you're going to take a bigger hit on the USD side. You think BTC is going down to 2,400? We'll look at this for real quick before I end this live stream. And my son's last day of school was today, and he's home already bugging me. And I did promise to take him out. So as you guys can see, I have a sell order for Litecoin 35.37. I doubt it's going to get there, to be honest with you. But I'm not panicking at this level at all, even though I am down. Let's just say the price is 28.38 or 36 or 37. I'm down $2. $2 on 310 coins. It's a good amount of money. It's a good amount of money to me. But it's not going to cause me to panic at all. But yeah, I would love to see BTC, to see if she's going to crack some key levels. And I don't know if she will. Where are our buyers and sellers? 2,500, a good amount of support. About 90. Hopefully it stays on. And the seller's not too much. 20 selling at, I shouldn't say not too much, because really 20 is a lot in the sense of BTC, considering BTC's over 2,500 bucks. But I kind of look for, especially on BTC, I want to see something, in the 40s, 50s to kind of say, okay, you know what? They're trying to put up a wall of some sort. So we have 89 on the buy side at 2,500, and then 20 on the sell side at 2,550. So we'll see what she does. But yeah, it's got a good amount of support at 2,500. And is our 2,500 buyer still there? Can't see him. Yeah, he's still there. He's still there. He's down at the bottom, but he's there. He hasn't taken it off yet. And it's very close to executing. It's very close to 2,500, so it could easily execute. Easily. Yeah, but this is not looking good for BTC at all at the current moment. Not long-term outlook, just the current moment. Not good at all. Considering yesterday, it came down, and which was fine. It had a healthy correction. What time was that at? 1:30 in the afternoon. So 1:30 in the afternoon is basically when it had that correction, and it made up, majority of the loss. It got to 24.63, and then it got right back up to 2,800. Just basically 2,800 on actually 28.27 on the nose. So that was a pretty significant rise back up. It basically lost a good amount, but regained, close to half of it, a little more than half, just about. But it should have consolidated, and it should have stayed in that range. But for it to violently dip, to come back down to where it was yesterday, that's a little scary. That's a little scary. And that theory that I talked about, in several videos ago, that this is the start of a bubble. This is kind of proving this theory. Over here, it really didn't prove my theory right, and it really contradicted what I was saying. The short-term price action really contradicted it. But here, seeing these violent dip here and then gradual increase, thinking, it's going to start consolidating and start moving, taking baby steps to possibly get back up to that $3,000 range, it just comes crashing back down. So, my 2,000 entry might be in sight. It might be in sight. And that's it's a scary thing to see, Bitcoin getting to that price. It's great for people that are looking to get in, but it's not great for people that are long-term holders, because it's like, man, I could have cashed out, a little under 3,000 and just waited for the dip. But yeah, it's scary. I mean, going from 2,800, down to 25. I mean, $300 within a matter of, let's just say 5 hours. 4.5 hours, something to that extent. And I mean, these candlesticks are violent. They're not, smaller candlesticks that would indicate to me, this is a little minor correction. It's a little minor dip. No, this is somewhere in between, And then here we go. I mean, this is a complete fake out. Even though this green candle here completely engulfed the previous candle, completely engulfed it, but that was just a fake out. It completely probably faked people out, thinking, oh, we got an engulfing candle here. This is a time. This is, when it's going to get right back up to that 828.27. Considering, it did it here. It's going to follow that same trend, but no, it completely faked them out. Who knows what BTC is going to do? I mean, nobody knows. I don't know. And if any trader tells you they know what it's going to do, they have no clue at all. They only have probabilities. And their theory on that probability could be correct, or it could be completely wrong. All right, guys, or ladies, I do appreciate you joining this live stream, and thank you for the thumbs up. And if you were the one person that gave me a thumbs down, let me know why. I mean, if there's something else that you want me to cover on this live stream, or something that I could do better on, I mean, let me know. I take all types of compliments in a positive way. So if you have some negative things to say, I like those comments, to be honest with you, because it's going to help me to develop this live stream to be better. So if you gave me a thumbs down and it was something that you didn't like, tell me what you didn't like about it. I won't hold it against you, and maybe I can improve on the live stream and actually make it better. So if there's something you didn't like about this live stream, leave me a comment. Just tell me what you didn't like about it, and then I'll go ahead and work on improving that. But aside from that, I definitely want you guys to be very careful. With what's going on in this market right now. I mean, we are downtrending. This is the bearish territory. We're not in a bullish territory unless this really gets back up to that 2,800 and slowly but surely starts to grind up. This is a bear territory. Now, is it the beginning of the bubble? I don't know. We'll have to see how this price action plays out. And all we can do is just really monitor this on an hour basis, half-hour basis, to see exactly how this trend is handling this price action, this volume, this volatility, this momentum that's coming in. And if it can't handle it and it's still trending sideways, it's still trending downwards, then we know, what, this is the correction that we're probably looking for. This is probably the bubble that we're looking for. And this is the major drop that we're looking for to take a position before Bitcoin really, gets to that place that it really belongs to. And I firmly believe that it belongs in the $5,000 range. But, with, August 1st, not too far from now, it's going to cause these violent, $300, $400 swings up and down. And it's a great way for somebody to say, you know what, I'm just going to buy one Bitcoin at this level here. I'm going to buy it at 2,500, and it gets up to, 2,800. You just made $300. So I mean, that's not a bad profit within a range of, let's just see how long it would have taken from 1:30 my time. Let's see, about a day and a half, maybe, something to that extent. About a day and a half, could make $300, and not a lot of people can make $300, in a day and a half by going to work and working 8 hours. Not a lot of people can do that, unfortunately. Is that what you think it was? He didn't like the title. Major cryptos are dropping, and they are. I mean, it's not like I'm lying, or it's not like we're at 3,000 and I'm telling people it's gonna drop. Get out now. No, I would never do that. I would never do that. I would not want to mislead anybody into getting out of their position. So that's not something that you will see. But if I see the trend is dropping and major cryptos are dropping, and they are. I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. I mean, they are dropping, and those are the major cryptos. So yeah, maybe he didn't like it, but it is a fact. It's not something I just kind of made up. It really is the fact. So, but yeah, you're right. That could have been it. But it'd be good for him to say, hey, you know what? I didn't like your title, and that's perfectly fine. Or if it is something that he wanted me to cover and I didn't cover it, I tried my best to cover, or she. I tried my best to cover, just about everything that I can. But there's a lot of stuff that you guys asked me to take a look at, and I try to look at it the best way I can, but I can't get to all of them. This live stream normally goes from 9:30 to 11:30, but the last couple of days, the past couple live streams, they've been anywhere in the range of like 3.5 to 4 hours. So if I have the time, I'll definitely stay on, but I just don't have the time to look at everything that's being recommended. But if it is about me, I definitely would want that criticism, whether it's positive or negative. Let's see if I can get to some of these comments before I end it. Yes, Sadula, welcome, man. Like I said, man, I enjoy seeing new people on this live stream, and then just become a regular. When you come on, say what's up. Um, there's a lot of people that are on this live stream that probably never chatted, and they've probably been on this live stream continuously. So they must enjoy the information that's being presented to them, but they're just a little shy. And same thing too. I mean, there's a lot of subscribers that are watching these videos. I'm sorry, there's a lot of non-subscribers that are watching these videos, and they keep coming back on a daily basis to watch them, but they just haven't subscribed yet. But yeah, help us out. Click on that subscribe button if you find this information helpful. Give it a thumbs up. And if you don't find this information helpful at all and you do give a thumbs down, leave a comment as to what you didn't like about it. And that's all that I can ask for. And then hopefully, I can take that information, decipher it, and, make the live stream a little better. And it will get better as time goes on. As I move into my new place and I end up getting a webcam, I get a better microphone, the live streams will get better and better and better. And they've gotten better, from day one when I started the live stream on my 10-year-old MacBook Pro. I had crazy audio, crazy video issues. So those issues have somewhat subsided now, except for the little issue, the hiccup that we had earlier, where everything just kind of went blank. But it's definitely gotten better. But it's going to get better as time goes on. Sydney, thank you so much. I appreciate that you think this is a great live stream. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Ethereum is following Bitcoin. Yeah, it seems like Ethereum, Litecoin, they're following the path of Bitcoin. When they dip, all the other ones start to dip as well too. I sound tired today. Yeah, dude, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm moving. I got 3 kids. I don't get much sleep at all sometimes. And yeah, I need a Red Bull. That's what I need. I drink very strong coffee. And actually, you know what? I haven't even finished my second cup of coffee yet. But usually by this live stream, I'm on my third cup of coffee and I'm wired. But yeah, I need a Red Bull. I need amp. I need to get fired up somehow, some way. And I think I'm getting sick. So yeah, my throat's a little raspy. But yeah, you're right. I am tired. I'm tired, and I'll be honest with you guys. On Monday when I did the 4-hour live stream, when I got off, I was just mentally drained. I was like, man, how did I do this for 4 hours? Like, it really drained me. Where it took me a couple hours just to kind of recuperate. Somebody mentioned recovery rights, and I didn't know what that was. It's under LOTA. Wasn't that what I was just looking at? Or is that IOTA? IOTA, I was just looking at it. Is that what the recovery token is? Where is it? Where's my IOTA? Is that the one you're talking about? Because if that is the one, I have access to it, and I did look at it and analyze it. You must be Danish. If that question is to me, no, buddy, I'm not Danish. I don't know. It might have been in response to somebody else. Would I ever short BTC in the short term? Man, shorting is a dangerous game, and I don't know about shorting BTC. Let's see. If support breaks down and the price starts cracking, if so, what conditions would you look for an entry? If she's starting to break key levels, really that 2,999 would have been a great short, seeing that there was somebody sitting at 3,000 looking to unload 250 Bitcoins. Where's my calculator? I gotta do the math here real quick. 250, let's just see it times at 3,000, $750,000 that somebody was looking to basically lock in. Yeah, that would have been a great shorting opportunity. So I mean, you really, it's not that it's breaking key support levels. You got to see basically, on the order book. And the only problem with GDAX is it doesn't allow you to look at the whole order book. You only get to see the top 50 buyers, the top 50 sellers. But I mean, if the order book indicates to you, man, there is a large seller that's just stacked up at this price, it might be a good idea to short. And I've shorted before. I've shorted, how many times did I short? Twice? No, once. I shorted once, and I was looking to short again, and it didn't hit my price point for me to short it based on what I saw. But yeah, I mean, I would just be careful shorting, to be honest with you. But yeah, shorting at the high, oh, dude, that's probably the best setup. Short at the high, and then start covering when it starts hitting resistance and starts to crawl back up. But if it starts breaking, I'm sorry, not resistance, support. But if it starts breaking support, then yeah, you're in a great short position. And then you just got to really find the buyer that's sitting there with a lot that's looking to buy, because then he's going to support, he or she or they are going to support the price at that specific price, and then you would get out of your short position. But yeah, shorting BTC at $2,999.99 would have been great because of that big seller that was just sitting there, and they weren't moving at all. And you can tell it was a real wall. But yeah, you just got to be careful. Unless, you've been trading for a while. If you have been trading for a while, then yeah, I mean, you could take a short position anytime because you know how to manage that risk. You know what you're looking at to determine if the probability of that short working out is good or not. But if you don't know, then stay away from shorting. I mean, the losses you can take are unlimited on a short position. The losses you can take on a long position is really only the capital that you put in. And what are the chances of these cryptocurrencies, especially the popular ones, going to zero and you losing everything? Very rare. But shorting Bitcoin, let's just say you short at 2,600 and you walk away from your computer and not look at it, and it starts to move up to the upside. It gets to 28, 29. It breaks through that key resistance at $2,999.99, and it just keeps climbing up. I mean, your losses are unlimited. The higher it goes, the more money that you're losing. Rocky Mountain, high speed. Yeah, I figured you were, man. But I am tired. And you called me out on it, and I admit it. I am tired. Yeah, these live streams, man, they can really wear you out. They really can. And I wish I was, I wish you guys were able to verbally converse with me, have a conversation instead of me talking and looking at the comments and trying to respond to the comments and really trying to understand what the comment is saying so I can respond to it in the right way. It's hard. It's not easy. Yeah, anybody that tells you live streaming is easy, it's not. All right, let's see if I can get to a couple of them, and then I'm going to end this live stream. You don't understand how to join the live stream? Go to www.cryptotradersroom.com and just fill out the little questionnaire we have, submit it, and then somebody will send you a link, and it'll come from Slack basically, and there will be an invite to our Slack chat room, the general chat room. So you'll have to create a user ID and password for Slack so you can actually log in. But it's very simple, very simple. You don't have to download anything at all. You don't see a link. So bottom of this video, stay connected. And it's not hyperlinked. I don't know why it's not hyperlinked. YouTube, Steemit, Twitter, Facebook, all four of them are hyperlinked except for the actual website. So just go to CryptoTradersRoom.com. And the website is on the bottom of this video under Stay Connected. And it'll take you right to the landing page for you to sign up for the mailing list. I hope that helps. You're Danish living in Rio. I would love to visit Rio one day, one of these days. I mean, there's so many countries that I want to visit. I got to put that on my bucket list. But I want to thank, before I get off this live stream, whoever sent me, $10 worth of Bitcoin. I don't know who you were, and I don't know what the mess. I mean, they wrote me a very nice long message. I can't make it out though, because it's in a different language. I don't even know what language it is. It might be Germany or German. But whoever it was, thank you so much, and I would love to know what that message said. So if you're on this live stream, or you happen to be on our chat, and it's you who donated the $10, and that's a very generous donation, I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Let me know so I can thank you by your name, and for me to really know what that message says. Because I'm sure it's a nice message that you wrote out, because you really took the time to write out a very long message. So I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Whoever decided to send me $10 worth of Bitcoin, and that was at 10:46 a.m. So it's about an hour and 10 minutes after I started doing the live stream. Bought 3 more Ethereum on Coinbase using Euro. Going to hold on to them long term now. Yeah, I mean, what's don't buy it on Coinbase, so because you just paid a premium. I'm not sure what you paid for it, but yeah, I mean, this has easily the ability to get right back up to where it was, up to 28 to 2,900. I might actually even end up changing my order to become a little bit more aggressive to get a better entry, because I doubt it's going to hit that 2,000. I really doubt it. It's wishful thinking. So I might end up changing my order to 2,225 would actually give me 2 BTCs, and that's a more of a of aggressive entry, I think. Considering that's only what 300 bucks away, less than 300 bucks away from hitting that price point. So I'll have to take a look at a couple different variables to see, what if I'm going to change it. But right now I am keeping the 2.25 at 2,000. But there's a possibility I might just kind of get some skin in the game and say, you know what, I'm going to be a little aggressive with it and just get it at the 22.50. That's possibly. But you guys will probably know on Friday, what my entry is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys subscribing, clicking on the post notification, and anybody that's been signing up for our mailing list to get access to our Slack chat room. I thank you very much, and I want to welcome you to the community. It's a great community that we are building, and please don't forget to stay connected with us on Steemit, especially if you have a Steemit account. Connect with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And I enjoyed having you on this live stream today. And this live stream is just getting better and better with a lot more people showing up on a daily basis. So, feel free to share this with anybody you want, anybody that's looking at getting into the cryptocurrency market, or just to have a little basic knowledge about, understanding charts and trading and things like that. Please share this link with them, have them join this live stream. That's the best way for them to kind of get involved without losing any money. You can watch me lose money, instead of having you guys lose money. So, if you're new to trading, you're a little scared, you want to watch somebody trade, watch me trade. I'm either going to make money or I'm going to lose money, and you can kind of learn from my mistakes. So that's really the best advice I would have for you guys. All right. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it, but I am ending this live stream, and I will see everybody on Friday. And Friday, like I mentioned, it's not going to be a 9:30 live stream, 9:30 Eastern time. I do have something scheduled at 9 a.m. So more likely it's going to be a later live stream. And if I can't do a live stream on Friday, Saturday, I will definitely do a live stream, because, my goal is 3 live streams on a weekly basis. And if I miss Friday, I got to make up for it. So I will make up for it by doing a live stream on Saturday. So make sure to click on that post notification so you will get notified if I end up doing a live stream on Saturday. But thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Protect your profits. Find a great entry, because this might be the opportunity to find a good entry.